You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
They confuse us with so much life. not even thinking that we would realize. And if we criticize, we could be ostracized. We don't know who to trust. That's why I say, Lord, please listen to this prayer that comes from before. Please send us another Moses again. Oh, we just can't go on this way. Please deliver us today. Time to make them oppress us stay. So we children could see their way. Make them get on their knees and pray. Then I'll be up to judgment day. Oh, just can't make it this way. Please deliver us today. Be like the Israelites did. Please send us another Moses again. Lord, we just can't make it this way. Yes, deliver us today. Oh, we just can't go on this way. No, we just can't make it this way. Please listen to what I say. Yes, hurry up with judgment day. We just can't make it this way. No, we just can't make it this way. Once we get old and gray, and the children can't see their way. Oh, we just can't make it this way. Oh, we just can't make it this way. We like the Israelites living there. Please send us another Jesus again. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 Lord, we just can't go this way. Lord, we just can't make it this way. No, 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 we just can't go this way. Please hurry up with judgment day.
When God bless a man, nothing must stop you. Yes, when God bless a man, Satan may attack you. Yes, when God bless a man, he's gonna back you. Yes, when God bless a man, that man must stand. He must stand AI. Who God bless, none can curse. His divine favor man can reverse. Can reverse. Even if they do their worst. Their worst. When God bless a man, nothing must stop you. Yes, when God bless a man, Satan may attack you. Yes, when God bless a man, he's gonna back you. Yes, when God bless a man, that man must stand. He must stand, I say. If you answer his call, Just give him your all, hey. When God bless a man, shimmy the body, nothing must stop you, my friend. When God bless a man, Satan may attack you, yes. When God bless a man, he's gonna back you, yes. When God bless a man, that man must stand. He must stand, I say, yeah. sister, them who under pressure. Cover, 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 cover the preacher, every church worker, the young believer. Cover, 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 the worship leader and intercessor, every gospel minister. Cover, cover, cover. Jesus alone is the one who has the real answer. The one on the throne is the true and loving Father. He will hold your hand and keep you from going under. He will make you stand and let you know he's a fixer. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me, man. You know the struggle sometimes. Cover me mouth, that the wrong thing wouldn't come out. Oh Lord, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover the Christian in the midst of aggression with the power of your right hand. Jesus, cover, cover, cover them helpless children. Jesus, defend them. Send help from heaven. Jesus, cover, cover, cover all them radio stations that blessing the nation. Grant divine protection. Jesus, cover, 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 cover me, cover me, cover me.
Truer words were never spoken. The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. Anytime you tolerate mediocrity in others, it increases your mediocrity. An important attribute in successful people is their impatience with negative thinking and negative acting people. As you grow, your associates will change. Some of your friends will not want you to go on. They will want you to stay where they are. Friends that don't help you climb will want you to crawl. Your friends will stretch your vision or choke your dream. Those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you. Consider this. Never receive counsel from unproductive people. Never discuss your problems with someone incapable of contributing to the solution, because those who never succeed themselves are always first to tell you how. Not everyone has a right to speak into your life. You are certain to get the worst of the bargain when you exchange ideas with the wrong person. Don't follow anyone who's not going anywhere. With some people you spend an evening. With others, you invest it. Be careful where you stop to inquire for directions along the road of life. Wise is the person who fortifies his life with the right friendships. If you run with wolves, you will learn how to howl. But if you associate with eagles, you will learn how to soar to great heights. A mirror reflects a man's face, but what he is really like is shown by the kind of friends he chooses. The simple but true fact of life is that you become like those with whom you closely associate, for the good and the bad. Note, be not mistaken. This is applicable to family as well as friends. Yes, do love, appreciate, and be thankful for your family, for they will always be your family, no matter what. Just know that they are human first, and though they are family to you, they may be a friend to someone else and will fit somewhere in the criteria above. In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Never make someone a priority when you are only an option for them. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude.
Yes, 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 yes. Let me say a special hello to all the WZYE 95.9 FM listeners. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it's in the village with the dad triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. And we come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to
to 10 p.m. It's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. And you know, ladies and gentlemen, we here at WZYE 95.9 FM, especially in the village with the dad triplets, we originate, we don't imitate. It doesn't matter where you're from. If you're from Mazatanius, Venuranius, Saturninius, Sonaranius, doesn't matter what planet you're from, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome in the village with the dad triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. It doesn't matter what color t-shirt you wear. You wear a mauve t-shirt, you wear a salmon t-shirt, you wear a burgundy t-shirt. Doesn't matter what color t-shirt you wear. You are welcome in the village with the dad triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. And as I say that, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in the history of politics in Trinidad and Tobago, we are going to be having a town hall online with Mrs. Karen Nunez Tesheira, who is running for the political leader of the People's National Movement. First time. And any folks, anyone, we don't matter what parts of the world you are, we have sent out a link. You can use that link and you can join us at 8 p.m. when we have the first town hall with any political candidate running for an office in Trinidad and Tobago. So I see you in the background. If you're in the background, you can wait there, but you're going to have to wait there till 8 p.m. Some people already joined and left, but we're going to start on time at 8 p.m. with Mrs. Karen Nunez Tesheira, the first of a kind anywhere, especially in politics in Trinidad and Tobago. You know, people want to talk, any questions. It's unfiltered. You know, the link is out there. Anyone wants to use the link, just go to my Facebook page, go to WZYE Facebook page, go to WZYE TV, and you can get the link and join us here on WZYE 95.9 FM. As I said, we don't imitate, we originate. Let me bring in no other than 1/3 of the dad triplets, no other than Diana, Waveney, Stormy, the Storm, McDonald, Greta, the twin Bagonian, the poetess, the poetress, the motivational speaker, McDonald Ben Skinboy.
You're out of gas now, huh?
No, you're not that gas. I wanted to go some more, but I still messed up.
Well.
I still messed up there. You know what I mean?
Big things are going on in the village tonight, boy.
Yeah. You know, Diana, if it's one thing, people just talk all kind of thing, all kind of say all what they want. But, and I really mean this, we originate, we don't imitate. And for a person like Mrs. Karen Nunez Tesheira, right, who I believe is revolutionizing politics in Trinidad and Tobago. This is something has never been done before. Never been done before.
Yep.
And yeah, that's what we're here to do. We're here to create history in politics in Trinidad and Tobago. So, you know, I mean, people can't say there's no transparency and accountability, or Karen is running from people. She don't want to answer this question and she want to answer the question. All those folks on social media who just be asking all them kind of questions, asking questions about insider trading and all kind of thing. Here's all the opportunity for yourself to ask the person whatever you want to ask. It's unscripted, right? Respectful, very respectful. We gave you the link. You can come in and ask her any question you want. Any question. We didn't write out no question. Tell people you can ask this or you can ask that. Anything you want.
And one thing I want to reiterate here, that could be a pitfall. If she answers a question on a topic before, don't come behind and ask the same question 5 persons later. Okay? And we will be gauging, because they're gonna come with the clico and the insta blah blah blah.
No, well, Diana, if they want to ask any question on clico, we don't have a problem, you know.
No, that's what I'm saying. Answer them. Let's say caller A asks about clico, and caller H wasn't, listening and come in to ask about Clico again. It's not fair to let to go and talk about
Well,
Clico
no,
again.
no. We'll tell them.
Okay.
We'll tell them they could go back and listen
to the program.
To the program that she answered that question already. Because
okay, good.
we don't
Just want to put it out there because that's gonna happen.
No. We don't want them answering the same question over and over and over and
over. And over. That's gonna happen.
You see that fella who's in that Benjai are fed up at the same thing over and over. we don't want the same thing over and over. So folks, we welcome each and everyone. Go to the youth, go to our Facebook page, go to WZYE TV, go to WZYE Facebook page, go to my Facebook page. Of course, my name is on the screen. Go to my page, you'll get the link there. You join us, you come in, we'll see you, and we'll bring you on screen. We are bringing you on screen to ask Mrs. Karen Nunez Tesheira your question. Right? We ain't hiding. She's not hiding. It ain't like, what was that? Vicky in the corner hiding.
Oh Lord, leave Vicky out of this now. Oh God. Why would you call it Vicky? Leave it. Leave my sister alone.
Yeah, I wasn't singing to Aisha in the corner, hiding.
Yes, you can sing that one, yeah. Loud and clear.
So you want me to sing about Aisha? You don't want me to sing about Vicky?
Sing it again.
Aisha in the corner, hiding.
Hiding.
Hiding in the corner, hiding from the law. So folks, we see you in the background, okay? We still have another. Yeah, well, that was my fault, though. That was my fault. I take full responsibility for that.
But Trinbagonians can be prompt for something, boy.
Yeah. We see you in the background. We are starting promptly at 8 p.m. I mean, as a matter of fact, Karen was already in the background too,
Is she ready for them too?
I have to do a better job of putting up the post. I actually should have put up 8 p.m., but we just have to do a little bit of little things before we actually start the show, But we see you, and as soon as we start, Karen is gonna come back at prompt. Knowing Karen will come back about 7:50. Oh God, she prompt too bad, early boy.
Early bird catching the worm.
Yeah, early bird catching the worms. You know what I mean? So
or the termites.
Oh God, early bird catching the termites.
Yeah. Let me behave myself. Let me behave. I'm going in the corner. Sit down.
Behave yourself. Don't let me put you in the corner like little Jack corner.
I'm going in the corner and sit down.
Yeah. You're going to sit down in the corner. Of course, it's no stranger. Tonight, first again was Takesha. Yeah. Takesha is always in the village first tonight. Takesha said,
"Woman is boss."
Storm, you get you get mauve boy, mauve emojis. You get Storm boy.
Hey, purple. That's royalty. Purple.
I know mauve. I thought it wasn't. That would look like mauve. No.
Purple.
I thought it looked like mauve.
Nadia, you can still click on the link and come in. You don't have to be on Facebook.
Yeah. Go click on the link, folks.
You can still click on the link.
Let me put the link in the chat because we are going to be at. It's going to be at 8 p.m. I'll put the link in the chat for you guys. Let me go get it.
Tell them Takesha. Purple. Thank you, Takesha.
Purple?
Mauve.
No, it's mauve. That's mauve.
That's purple.
That's mauve. Or look the link here. Look the link in the chat here. So I'll send the link in the chat. So all of you who are in the chat who wants to come in, the link is now in the chat.
But don't go at it yet. They can only accommodate 12 people in the background or 6 at a time. So, as one drop off, right?
No, I think it's about 12 of them. 12 of them at one time.
12 of them? Okay. We'll have me, you, and Karen. That's 3. Then you'll only have 9. Okay.
Yeah. Tommy will join us in a short bit, of course. Takesha says Nadia, Lana, Rose, Carice, Mauricia, Miss Kuva, Joan Capiza. Of course. Takesha had to make sure and rep all she gentlemen. Albert, Bonnie, Ellis, Raj, Ulrich, Kylie, Troy, Chris, Tropics, Daryl, Rennie, Ken,
Oh my,
Ken
all of
John.
them in the background?
No, all of them. That's who Takesha sending out. All of them coming in. Yeah, Takesha, only love in the village. No hate or negativity, just love in the village. Full 100. So Takesha say, imagine it took a teacher to video these kids in school, lying on the floor from the songs of gunshot to ceasefire. Yep. You think it's easy? Why didn't the Minister of National Security did something all the time about the shooting around Port of Spain and so much people died before ceasefire now? If it wasn't that for that video, shooting all now. Yeah, think it's easy.
There would be.
Yeah. And then the minister want to say teacher blow it out of proportion. Thank God for that move the teacher made. Else now these kids hearing shots. Hey Ali, you inside boy, what tax? You inside. Hey, Lana, you inside, Lana. So folks, we have a little way we just do here in the village. We just make sure and acknowledge all our loyal people joins us in the chat. So for the people in the background, just be patient with us. We're going to start promptly at 8 p.m. and we're going to bring you into the program. I mean, if you want to leave
They're trying
and come
to
back,
secure that, but no, they're
fine.
trying to secure their spot. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know the Trinity thing, when you got to go to the embassy, they line up, but they can't do that no more. When they got to go to government offices, they're lining up. You know what's going on.
Yeah. Lana says, good afternoon, Ansem, Tommy, Diana. Yes, I see your next person. So folks, I see you in the background. Just be patient with us. We're gonna start promptly at 8 p.m. knowing Karen will be in 7:50. So as soon as Karen comes in, we're gonna start. We're not gonna waste any time. You know, as soon as she comes in, we'll start. Takesha, blessings, sister. Highly blessings. As soon as she comes, we'll start back again. Nadia says, good night, Anselm. Tommy, good night. Diana Benskin, good night. Takesha, good night. All the good nights. Cover Florida. Takesha wants to know what's the real Minister of National Security. Is it to beg criminals to stop, negotiate, or promise the contract acting as a concerned citizen? Takesha said, I always watch tricks with those so-called activists who say they're for the people, especially the ones who have nothing to say about crime in their areas because it's not beneficial to them. So folks, we see you in the background. Be patient with us. Karen was already with us, but we had told her 8 p.m. And as prompt as she is, she was in at actually 6:50 p.m. So she's gonna come back promptly in just another maybe 15 or 20 minutes. So you can stay in the background, or if you want, you can leave and you can come back again. It's the same link. It's up to you. All right. So Takesha says, as a concerned citizen, people like it so, and he would like to put back P&M. Can the party members please don't vote Rowley and his clan? Give someone else a chance in the party. Huh? She wants to know how come Watson Duke hasn't come in the area with warfare or by the school. Is that he promised the youth's work and nothing is happening up to now? Asking for a friend. Oh God, I don't know. But all you should see what happened with it says, when did Kamala come to visit Rose Hill School to meet with the school official and the people because school was built under her parties, because it's not close to election, people open their eyes. Okay. Lana says only promise, nothing new. Everyone wants to put their hands in the cookie jar. When it comes to
and they'll do anything to obstruct anyone who is trying to thwart their chances to put their hand in the jar.
Lana already asking questions, boy. Lana asking questions already. So folks, we see you in the background. Be patient. We starting promptly at 8 p.m. We see you in the background. We don't need party. We need people who can work for betterment of country and citizens.
That's right. Word.
Without citizens, politicians can't win and rulers government. But you know something? I want to play something, so the politicians need. I want to play this, I want to play this. Hold up, I want to play something for you. I know you all heard it, but I want to play something because I think in this internal election here, we have to stop this kind of behavior from certain people. Let me put it that way. Okay, what did I do with that?
All right, here we go.
There we go. I'm telling you, what happened? Like these things just change on me just so, you know.
No, you put it, your typical man. Put away thing. I don't know where all they put it.
No, I put it.
No, that's what men do. Trying to hide stuff.
What I do? No. I don't try. I ain't trying to hide nothing.
Yeah, you're trying to hide it, and you put it so far away you can't find it.
Okay.
Like the password to your phone.
But anyway, let me play this before. Let me play this one, Let me play this one. Nah, I had to get that one. So folks in the background, again, we see you in the background. Be patient with us. We starting promptly at 8 p.m. We did put up, my mistake, I did put up that the show starts at 7 p.m., but Karen is making her presence at 8 p.m. And Karen was already here very promptly, right? But she's going to be back in a 38 and 10, 48, maybe another 10 minutes. I'm sure Karen will join us again. So be patient with us. She'll be right back. You can stay in the background if you want, because you already have your position in place, right? Because once you get in and you have your position, you can just stay there. Because if you leave, other people can replace you. And we can only have, I think, 9 people at a time in the background. So right now we had about 7 individuals in the background. 2 have left.
You have to leave. You have to leave room for Karen.
Yeah. Once she comes, yeah.
You'll have to kick somebody temporarily.
Yeah. She'll be good. All right. Let me see this. Right. I want to play that I think is very important. Right? Let me go to my
Did you find?
Huh?
Did you find what you're looking for?
No, hold on. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to know, did you find what you're looking for? Because
I'm still looking for it.
oh
So because it's a on
your buffer
with regards to Stuart Young.
Yeah, what you have to do is
Okay.
if it's a video, it has numbers attached to it. Capture the last 3 of the numbers, and you'll know better when you're looking through.
Yeah, I have it in here, and I thought it was important. I thought somehow, I know what I do. So can you still hear me, folks? You still hearing me?
Yeah, we're still hearing you. Yeah, we're still hearing.
Somehow I gone dark. I know why I went dark, because I went down there. So I'm trying to get this video here. Let me see if I have it in my and I think it's important because we want the mudslinging in the PNM internal election to stop.
Lord. What, Stuart Young going with bad behavior again?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. No, he ain't going with his bad behavior, but you know, I think that share this. Hold on,
we have to put him in the corner.
Yeah, I had to put him in the corner. I think we had to put him in the corner.
Time
so you know
out.
what?
Give him.
Let me do this. Let me play a quick song while I get
While
this.
you search it.
Yeah, because
you're having too much there.
Yeah, I want this. I want to play this because I think this is very important for many of us who are supporting the PNM. And we want the politics of the day to be clean and not nasty politics. We don't want to go into the sub-basement with respect to politics. Keep it clean, right? Fight on the issues, deal with the issues at hand. We want the issues to be dealt with. Whatever the issues are, let's with those issues. Let's fix them. It's a campaign, right? It ain't easy. It's not an easy campaign. It's a very tough campaign. I think this is the mother of all campaigns in the PNM. I saying that it's the mother of all campaigns in the PNM because Karen is no slouch. I mean, I don't have to say nothing for Karen. Karen could hold she own stories. I don't have to say a word, but she fighting the battle based on issues and policies in the PNM. She ain't what somebody do or what somebody didn't do, right? And we as PNM, we have to fight it based on the issues that we are dealing with in the People's National Movement. We have to fight based on the issues, right? Because listen, plenty people who come in on the platform and talking about pottongs and termites, they are skeletons in the closet too, They are skeletons. So fight based on the issues. Let me deal with the issues because the PNM need fixing. You may not, some of them may not like it. They may not like it. But Diana, when a person involved in drugs and you're trying to help them, right? It's sometimes it's tough. When they send a person an alcoholic to AA, Alcoholic Anonymous, you don't go there.
Wait, is Trump brother there anonymous? Is Trump brother there, boy, anonymous?
Yeah, I make up my own AA. My own AA I make up. We have a different AA.
Okay.
You understand? These are issues
but
that you have to face.
Can I Go ahead.
No.
But can I interject here?
Hold on. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I interject here? You can't be calling Dr. Raulino. You can't be calling Dr. Raulino names either. Good.
I don't call him no names.
You can't call him despotic or nothing during the campaign. You can't be calling him no name. If you call him any name, I gonna be jumping down your throat. All right. Good.
No, I don't call them no names. So here is the video. Here is the video. This is the one I was waiting for. I apologize for taking so long. I want a little listen. And we did this the NWZYE.
Full 100. The police just say yes and block off Piccadilly Street straight up Laventille Road. What a waste. All right, so folks, I am so disappointed in the things that are coming out of this internal campaign here with, all right? So this is where we started, right? Let's listen to this one. This is where we started.
Going back to that period of opposition, you have some people who are now putting themselves forward for leadership positions in the PNM that seem to have just sprung up with the announcement of this internal election. Some of them have spent the last 7 years of a PNM government in power since 2015, doing nothing but criticizing and like little pottongs barking at our ankles as though they are the opposition. And
all right, so let's hear that one, right? So let me fast forward now. Let me fast forward to just recently, right? Same person, different day, but here's what he had to say.
Carefully. And this is what I'd like you all to think about. Actions are not words. Because you see, talk is cheap. And I've looked on throughout the last 10 years and seen how talk is cheap. They have some people, and I will say it again, who have just come out of the woodworks like termites and want to be leaders all of a sudden of the great party that we are. But you see, PNM membership think choices very carefully. And this is what I'd like you all to think about. Actions are not words.
So, folks, you all see, right? You all hear, right? Termites, potongs, and then termites. Let me go to Google for you guys. I just want to go to Google for a little bit. Just quickly. Just bear with me here. This is what Google says. Is a termite a cockroach? Termites were once classified in a separate order from cockroaches. But recently, phylogenetic studies indicate that they evolved from cockroaches as they deeply nested within the group and the sister group to wood-eating cockroaches. Right? Let me repeat that. Termites were once classified in a separate order from cockroaches, but recently, phylogenetic studies indicate that they evolved from cockroaches. Right? And Stuart Young calling us termites. Right? What about, how is that any different from Gary Griffith calling them little youths cockroaches? How is that any different? How is it any different?
I glad that's why I is a Bajan. Nobody ain't calling me no termite.
Where did I put that other one, boy?
You heard me answer?
Yeah,
I think it's this one here.
I is a Bajan.
Okay,
nobody ain't calling me.
Potongs. Potongs or potpong, an extremely hungry dog of unknown parentage, typically found wandering the streets of the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. This type of dog mainly chases food and will do anything for food. A mutt, mongrel, mixed breed dog. Let me repeat that for you. This is what Stuart is calling certain people that look like me. Potong or potpong, an extremely hungry dog of unknown parentage, typically found wandering the streets of the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. This type of dog mainly chases food and will do anything for food. A mutt, mongrel, and mixed breed. That is what Stuart Young think of many of us in the PNM, right? A party that supported that many people that look like me. And Stuart Young cannot win an election without some potongs and termites voting for him. He can't. He cannot. Right? But then Dr. Claude Anderson says, a race that's taught to hate itself and love the world will become its own oppressor. A race that's taught to hate itself and love the world will become its own oppressor. Why we allowing Stuart Young to call us potongs and termites? And you know what? The sad thing?
Because all was taught to hate one another.
You say, very good, Stuart Young. Very, very good. Very good. I wonder if the roles were reversed. What would have happened? Just imagine.
Anselm.
Imagine if Stuart Young was in this country. This country. And called people potongs. Who didn't look like him. What would happen?
Step down.
Oh, he called them termites. What would happen to Stuart Young?
Step down.
Listen. What? We just take anything? Is anything we just take? You know?
Because Anselm.
Correct.
Hold on.
You see? But we allow these type of things to happen in Trinidad and Tobago. And when we allow it, you see how when people show you their real side, take it at face value. When they show you who they are, take it at face value. Take it at face value.
Don't doubt them.
Don't doubt them. Don't doubt them at all. Right? So, folks, of course, it's in the village with the dad triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Right? Just remember, Dr. Claude Anderson says, a race that's taught to hate itself and love the world will become its own oppressor. To all those people who Stuart Young calling to all those people who look like the people that Stuart Young calling pottongs and termites. Remember in the world of Claude Anderson, a race that's taught to hate itself and love the world will become its own oppressors. Frederick Douglass says, power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. Martin Luther King says, your life ends the day you remain silent about things that matter. From where I sit, this is it. The clock on the wall, so that's all I like to say, but I've got to go. Remember, hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard. And for every 60 seconds of anger, you lose 1 minute of happiness. See you.
You see, Diana, I just wanted to play that.
Yeah, I thought you were talking. I realized it's a video you played.
No, it's a video. It's a video.
Yeah, I thought you were talking. My bad.
Yeah, because what it is, Diana, is that, you know, we are in a political battle. It's a fight that they have never seen previously. And first was Camille Robinson Regis, right? Then next they sent out Stuart Young. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And they pelting, they pelting, they ain't bowling, they pelting, and they have to stop it. They have to stop it. All of us are PNM. All of us are PNM. Well, Diana using our PNM. I mean, we don't know.
I is a Baja. Nobody ain't calling me no pothong and no termite.
Nobody, no, we don't know what you are, but yeah, something, you know. But you know what?
No,
let me go for a quick.
No termite.
Okay, hold on. Let me go for a quick station identification because I know Karen is going to be joining us real soon, so we could do our station identification a little early. It's in the village with the DAT triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. So stick and stay. We'll be right back after this short message. It's in the village with the DAT triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
night and day. For next to nothing pay, so they can't see the way. We don't enjoy equal facility. Like Pharaoh and company, brainwashing we say we free. We just can't go this way. We just can't go this way. Please deliver us today. We just can't go this way. And to make them oppress us pay. We just can't go this way. So the children could see their way. We just can't go this way. Like you did in Egypt, when Pharaoh had the Israelites in bondage, you delivered them. But here again, we are in the same khaki pants. We have those modern Pharaohs who oppress the poor, who represents Israel. They confuse us with so much lie. Not even thinking that we will realize. And if we criticize, we could be ostracized. We don't know who to trust. That's why I say, Lord, please listen to this prayer that comes from the poor. Please send us another Moses again. Oh, we just can't go on
Miss Karen Tesheira, we need you. Discipline, production, tolerance. And that's all we need. Red Army. Yeah. We restoring the vision. The PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision. We don't make a decision. Yeah. We restoring the vision. The PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision, one love, no division, yeah. Whoa, great is the PNM, great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family, I'm always defeated. Great is the PNM, great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family, I'm always defeated. I see leaders come and go. Full the pocket and the throw. Lion promise to get revolt. Miss Karen Tesheira, we need you. Cause we know you're competent, brilliant, intelligent, woman of class and elegance. Bring back the love, no violence. We got your back, put in the work. Cause you put poor people first. We a strong woman like you, long time we are search. We restoring the vision. The PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision. We don't make a decision, yeah. We restoring the vision. The PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision. One love, no division, yeah. Whoa, great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family. I'm always defeated. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family. I'm always defeated. Misusing power like land they plow. Lost the THA, tell me how. This losing streak must stop ya now. Me show me can, when I call no fall. Strong leader, make a strong country. Never turn a blind eye when people hungry. Miss Tesheira is the real leader for we. We got your back, put in the work. Cause you put poor people first. Be a strong woman like you, long time we are search. We restoring the vision. The PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision. We don't make a decision, yeah. We restoring the vision. The PNM vision, yeah. The PNM vision. One love, no division, yeah. Whoa, great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family. I'm always defeated. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. The Red Army for me and my family. I'm always defeated. Miss Karen, Nunez Tesheira. TNT need you now or never. Full support from Jabi and the family.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to In the Village with the Dad Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. And of course, we are not going to delay the process any longer. Let me bring in no other than Mrs. Karen Nunez Tesheira, who is joining us live on the rec from the beautiful island of Trinidad and Tobago. Karen, how was your day today, Karen? I know you had a splendiferous day today, I could tell. Your mic. Your mic, hold on. See how to unmute her mic. Yeah, unmute your mic, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I would say I had a splendiferous day in many ways because I think we achieved a lot. A lot of, our team is a very devoted, very competent team, and we will see what is going to be coming up in the next few days. So we'll see how competent and how capable our team is, and so that has taken a lot of our attention, and clearly, so the days have been challenging, but I knew that's what it would be. I've been in government before. I understand what it is like to be in government and to be an MP and be a minister, and so it's not my first rodeo, as they say. So I came ready and prepared for what I was going to meet. So it's as you like to say, it's a splendiferous day.
Of course, and we have Diana with us too. Diana is here.
Yes, hi, Diane from
Yeah,
Barbados. But she's
yeah,
confused. She's from Barbados or Trinidad. I don't know if she really. She
Hello, Mr. Shara. I was born in Trinidad and Tobago to two Bajan parents. Barbados recognizes me as a citizen of Barbados also. So I just clout
That.
all my citizenship as a Caribbean girl.
That is what I want to hear. Because in fact, that's how I think, you know. In fact, just to go off a little bit on that, in terms of my commitment to the Caribbean, I remember when I done my A-levels, my father wanted me to go off to England through law. I begged him. I said, I don't want to go away. I want to stay right in the Caribbean. And I was able to eventually to persuade him to let me stay. But not only that, when I taught at the law school, I felt it was our responsibility as lecturers in a regional institution now making its way in the world, using all these foreign books. Excuse me with the cold, I do have a cold. That I had a responsibility to start writing regional textbooks. So I did that. I did it 3 times, and one of them I did it over. And I can assure you, if I made any money off of it, I certainly haven't. But it's the love of my region, not just Trinidad, because it was written on all the Caribbean islands. And what I did as a lecturer, when I started teaching, you found that lecturers would focus on the country to which they came and maybe 1 or 2. I said, that's not right. They're not staying here and practicing. This is a regional institution that's located in Trinidad, but they're going home to Dominica, to Barbados, and Grenada. So I made it my, and a lot of other lecturers did. I do think I did set a bar with that in terms of my commitment to being regional in the scope of the teaching and in the writing of my textbooks. So I am like you, you know, Dan. I am from the region. I am a Caribbean person.
All right. All right.
Well,
Africa,
Karen,
we're all Caribbean people. Go ahead.
Karen,
yes,
the first person we're gonna bring in, and I have to tell you, this person have plenty patience. He have more patience than Porter State General Hospital.
I know who it is.
I ain't sure if you know that either.
I know who it is.
He been sitting waiting, Karen, since 7 p.m. tonight.
Wow.
He been he's very patient. But let me bring him in.
Can I just say one thing? Can I say a speedy recovery to our Prime Minister? I know he's come down with the COVID, and that kind of my daughter had COVID. I know what I never had it, but I know how terrible it can be, even when you're young and healthy. And so I could imagine for him. So I just wish him a speedy recovery.
Wonderful, wonderful. Let's add this person to the stream here. Hello, Mr. Richard Norrie. Welcome. Are you hearing us? Unmute your mic, Richard. Richard patiently waiting, and they want to unmute his mic.
He don't want to talk.
Richard, unmute your mic.
Hit your microphone to unmute it.
Microphone, unmute it. All right, let's do this.
Bring somebody else in.
Yeah, we'll bring somebody in. Let's bring another person here into the village. Takesha, welcome.
Unmute your mic, Takesha.
Like people don't want to unmute their mic tonight.
I feel there's some glitch there.
Try unmuting it.
I cannot unmute it. They have to unmute it themselves. No, I
cannot unmute it.
No, I cannot.
No.
Unmute. But
Takesha, touch your microphone.
Yeah.
Okay, move along.
So
she has come in here before, so she knows.
We'll come back to Takesha. So let me bring in the next person.
Wow.
This is hello, Nunez Novels. How are you doing? Welcome.
Oh, this is Karen's sister Elizabeth.
Hi, Elizabeth. How are you doing?
Welcome. I'm doing well, but I don't understand why everybody doesn't know how to unmute.
Elizabeth.
Huh?
Elizabeth, the teacher knew. Not everybody got it. Okay.
Well, no, because I'm so illiterate in terms of technology, and I figured out from the thing at the bottom.
Right.
Let's
okay.
You got some other people.
Class is over.
Okay.
So go ahead, Mrs. Karen Nunez Tesheira-Ask sister. What do you have to say to your sister? What question do you want to ask? Question you want to ask your sister?
Well, I admire her. I think that she is brilliant. I think that she's demonstrated her love of Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean. Like so many women leaders, she's overqualified. She has worn many hats, as she has sort of mentioned. I mean, she's a lawyer. She has taught in the law school. She has written 3 texts that are used in law schools. She has entered politics and was an MP, was a minister of finance. She has garnered degrees beyond law. She has garnered an MBA. I think she's garnered another degree in international something or the other. I'm not sure. But like
Question, Elizabeth.
What is it?
Your question.
Oh, I have to ask a question?
Yeah, you ask a question. Yeah, we
Oh.
want questions tonight. We want questions for Karen.
But I'm
Okay,
going to ask you, what's your question?
Yeah.
Okay, I do have a question. And my question is, why do you want to contest the leadership of the PNM? Why do you feel now is the time for you to do that?
Okay, so what we'll do, Karen, you'll answer the question. And thank you so much for the question, Karen's sister. So we'll move her from the stream. Go ahead, Karen. You can answer the question.
She sort of knows the answer in a way because she lives in the States. And in fact, she taught at Medgar College for many, many years. And so has been very much immersed in Brooklyn and the Black American and West Indian diaspora, because many of the students of Medgar are students from the Caribbean, as you well know. So I think she knows already that we've had many conversations about sitting back and not doing anything, and at this point in time in my life, you say to yourself, you want to be able to say that you gave your best and you did your best. And I think at this point, at this stage in my life, I probably am in a better position than many people to make the decision. One, because I am not financially dependent on any of the financiers or whatever you want to call them. I am committed to my country, and I have been as a minister of finance, so I've had the experience, but most of all, it's the love of country. And, it's just that, people sit down and say, we should do this, we should do that. But at the end of the day, many of us can't for various reasons, and I could, and I wanted to, and I have.
So here we go. Thank you so much, Karen. Next person up, Eugene Julian. Eugene Julian has a question.
Excuse me if I blow my nose, because
that's okay.
I get cold with going on 0.40 in rain. Oh God.
Eugene Julian. All right. So Eugene Julian.
Unmute your mic, Julian.
No, he's not there.
I don't know why they don't understand that though.
Okay. Yeah. Everybody, let me add Yolanda. Yolanda.
She has a mic on too. She hasn't unmuted either.
Yeah, Yolanda, are you hearing me?
So we can see their mic is muted. They have to actually touch their microphone to unmute it.
All right. Let's bring in.
She came in. She's coming. She got it. Got it.
Hi, Yolanda. How are you? Yolanda?
We can hear you.
Yeah. What is your question for Mrs. Karen Nunez Tesheira?
How is she going? What is her plan? How is she going to go about putting forth what her ideas are?
Okay. Ideas for the party, you saying? What is the ideas for the party?
That's right.
Yeah. So Karen, she wants to know what is your ideas for the party. Okay, Yolanda, thank you so much. What are your ideas for the party?
Okay, I think I'm putting that in place right now. I think the challenges that we've had to make in regards to the procedure and the process for the internal elections is less than transparent and less than accountable, so that we have called the Valley House Central Executive, the persons in charge of the electoral process. I've written a letter, an open letter on it. I think it has garnered a lot of interest and support. And I think they have answered, but they've not answered well enough. There's too many things that are wrong with how they conduct the internal election, because as I've said on many, many occasions, when you're dealing with a party, you're not dealing with a football club, which has you're there as a social club, want to do the best you can. But when you decide to form a party, the intention is to be successful and form the national government, to become and go into public office. And therefore, the nursery, the foundation has to start within the party and how it structures it and how it conducts its business. And one of the things that has become very apparent to certainly to me and certainly to others, that the electoral process is very flawed. It is not fair. It is not transparent. And it is only in the interest of the party at the end of the day, because some people may be upset that you're bringing that to the forefront. But what are you to do? Stay silent and allow it to go on? No, you have to take a position. And at the end of the day, you have to have the maturity to see that I love the PNM. If I did not love the PNM, I would have left the PNM a long time ago. I would have joined another party like so many people have done. I would have tried to start my own party, but I stayed, although I was not active in the way that people would have said, and I had my good reasons for remaining inactive. You know, they say if you have nothing good to say nothing. And I could tell you I had nothing good to say. But at this point in time, I think having thrown my hat in the ring, it is incumbent upon me with my training and my commitment to transparency at the very foundation of the party, that you have to attract people and they have to say, you know what, we want to be part of this party because they are transparent, they make sure the rules are fair, and that is not the case now. So we have been making challenges in the newspaper, and we'll see how far it goes. There's so many examples. I can give one example that, I mean, just speaks to something that's not right. How could you then, with the Constitution and Article 2, everybody talks about it because Article 2 really speaks of what the PNM since 1956 stands for. And it is clear that it stands for something more than being a club. It stands for getting into public office and to have the moral and both moral, intellectual, and financial equality. Those are the things that the article speaks to. But the other articles, and one of them is that there's an election day. Now, an election day is, you could say, well, I mean, election day is exactly what it says. But even if you want to say it is ambiguous, then I don't think that the central executive or the general council can go about and say, well, we have decided to have 3 days. That's how you do it. And then I asked you, well, why you did that? And you can't give me a good reason. The only thing I could think of is that it doesn't look right. I mean, the EBC, when it conducts national elections, I don't know if it's stretched over all those days. In fact, you want to do it in one day, except for those who are pollsters and have a special voting day. But everyone votes on the same day. And then the other thing is, no one except the EBC has the contact numbers or the email addresses of any of the potential voters. But Balizi House does have that. And it's the very same persons who are seeking to remain or to come back into those positions that are in Balizi House who have an unfair advantage over me, because I certainly don't have those numbers. And I'm not saying they're doing this, but I'll be very surprised if they're not calling up people and saying, what's your problem? Your telephone bill, electricity bill, don't worry, we'll settle it. And you know, that in itself does not speak well, because the EBC does not allow you to have it, and there's a reason why. It's not just because it's a reason why, and you very well know there's a reason why. And for you to stretch it over those 26 and 27 and the 4th for no good reason, and with all that's going on outside there in the national, the public domain, it does not inspire confidence. And the other thing, too, that was very worrying is that they say they'll have the boxes. I must believe you that you take any boxes and store in it. Why must I believe that? You have a vested interest in the outcome. You want to be the chairman. You want to be the leader. You want to be the vice thing. I mean, it's himself to himself. The temptation is way too great. And to me, the correct thing to do, if you really meant transparency and accountability, which is what you say you want to stand for, if you form the government of this country, which you are right now, And those same things are being questioned in the, let me give you the 4 examples. Jawala Rambaran won his case of breach of contract for breach of natural justice against the Minister of Central Bank and the Minister of Finance. Sajiko and Maritime up to the Privy Council. The Privy Council said that Maritime had a right to judicial review because denying them that right to challenge the award of the CLICO's traditional business to Sajiko on the basis that they are more established. And that's the minister saying that, not Central Bank, that is enough grounds for judicial review. Then you had the Board of Inland Revenue, the person who was applying for the chairmanship of the Board of Inland Revenue. And you did not even do breach of natural justice. At least you have to give an opportunity to be heard and give her reasons why you have come to that conclusion. And then, of course, FUL with Gary Griffin, who's I'm certainly no admirer of his, but he's right. How could you then have an FUL report and not give him an opportunity to see the report and respond to it and want to take it up to Parliament? So you have shown in the public domain, in case after case after case, that you are not showing respect for natural procedural fairness. Why should I expect any different in an internal election when there's so much at stake and when you have a direct personal interest in the outcome? You are going to take those boxes and put it somewhere and you must tell me I must feel comfortable? Please, that's not, you shouldn't even want to do that. The thing that should be done, and we hope that they will do it, is that they could get the police to escort it. I don't know if that is supposed to give us a sense of, I don't know if that's supposed to make us feel comfortable. No, it's not. We're not fooled by it, okay? So try something else. What you need to do is when you, as I do with ABC, wherever the designated place is, count the votes right then. So if you're going up for education officer, welfare officer, you count those votes right there and there in the presence of the person or his representative. You tally the votes. You give a person a receipt showing how many for or against them, however it goes. Then you have a main sheet onto which you have the votes that have been counted, and you have every applicant sign it and date it. That's what you do. Then you go and tie it up and put it in a box and put it away. Because wherever you put it after that, it's not supposed to come back heavier and you're not supposed to come back lighter, because you all saw what happened and we saw the receipt. Why are you not doing that? Why do you say that persons who wish to participate in the election process, I mean, it was like the biggest secret. I'm not going to call the name of the person because I have respect for them. But I called Balize House and I spoke to one of the persons who was responsible for the electoral process. He didn't even know. He didn't even know what date was the close-off date. I mean, he was very polite and very nice. He said, well, you could go and collect an application from a constituent. He had no idea. But you know what he told me, though? He said, then it is the preliminary list. And then it goes up to Balize House. And then they decide on the final list. How do I determine who comes? Because the final list is the voting list. So how do I know who you took off, who you left on, why you took them off, why you left this one on, right? Why must I have confidence? Because you have a vested interest in the outcome. If you can't see that something is intrinsically wrong with that, then you really should not be in government. And you are showing, actually, by the cases that I just illustrated, and then you have the Vincent Nelson imbroglio, then you have the thing with the Attorney General with the Miami case. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And every single case, I'm sorry to say, speaks a lack of accountability and transparency and fairness. And that's what the court has been telling them. So the court is telling you that about yourself. I must believe in you, in something in which you have a vested interest. You shouldn't even want to do it that way. Want to do it that way.
So let me bring in someone else again. I was trying to get Richard Norrie. Richard Norrie, if you're hearing us. Folks, when you come into the back, can you unmute your mic? Please, you can hear me in the background. Here we go. So here we go. Let me bring in the person who has been waiting the longest. A man with a lot of... a man with a lot of patience. You have more patience than Port of Spain General Hospital, Richard. I have to tell you.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. You have more patience. Richard Norway, welcome. Richard, I will give you a little time to ask Karen any question because you've been sitting patiently in the background. Go ahead, Richard.
That is true. That is true. It's not just to ask Karen, but to support some of what she has already expressed. I think that would also be meaningful on a platform such as this. And you are Wall Street, right?
Well, that's what it is called me.
I know the voice. You are no voice sometimes on our show. If it's
absolutely.
So good day to you too, Mr. Wall Street.
Thank you very much. And we have Diane with us too. Diana Benskin. She's our co-host with me here.
How are you, Miss Benskin?
I am splendiferous and marvelicious.
Well, you have to be Wall Street's co-host.
No. I know Wall Street as a highway.
Oh, I see. Excellent indeed. Well, good evening to all of you. I want to commend, first of all, Karen Nunez Tesheira for doing what she has decided to do in the interest of giving all of us in the PNM an opportunity to, assist the party to take a different direction. The direction that the country has been on for quite some time now under the current leadership. While we like the Prime Minister and I love him, his personality and so on, the truth is, notwithstanding how hard they claim they have worked, their policies and approaches have not worked for the country. And that's just the reality of it. And after 7 years and the promise to correct Forex for us has not materialized, and so many other things. Crime was something high on the burner that we were going to fix. Today it's worse if you look back at the figures. In 2018, 2017, under this government, you got the second highest murder rate ever. That's what we got. And I mean, right now, we're on course to breaking what the highest record was. Well, what the record is, which is 550.
Correct.
And something has to happen. We can't continue to do the same thing as we have been doing for some time. The government has a nice strategy. It seemed to have worked for them for quite some time. But like any other product, it has a lifespan. They have reached the end of the lifespan with the approaches and strategies that they have been rolling out for some time, because they have started all over again several times now. So we get to know what they do quite well. So, for example, you have a situation now where I'm talking crime and they clearly have no answer. So what they start doing now? They have looked away from criminals who have illegal firearms, and now they're trying to make the issue to be one of legal FULs issued. You are being told that 4 murders were committed with legal firearms. But the figure today, I think, is 526. Let's say 525. Why you are not focusing on the 521? What the issue is the 4? What they are saying that we have surrendered. We don't know what to do. So now they're trying to blame citizens, law-abiding citizens, who went to get, a legal firearm to defend themselves in the process. So when a bandit break in your house in the night, you have a chance, if you hear them coming, to pull your legal firearm and try to put up whatever little defense you could. You want to turn on those people today and say they are the ones contributing to crime. You know what you're going to hear soon? You tell her, well, now, people who are legal firearms committing crime. What do you want me to do? I can't manage that now. I mean, come on. That's what you get. So if he's not playing the victim, then he's taking the platform to explain his failures to the country. And he has done that in so many different ways. You just call any issue and you blame the people for it. A crime again, we say bad parenting. The whole world, all countries have bad parenting in it.
Well, Richard, that's exactly why we have, a long-time PNM, Mrs. Karen Nunez Tesheira, to change the course of what's been going on in the PNM, and by extension, the things in Trinidad and Tobago. But that's why I think Karen has put herself up, and people like you and many others who have been loyally supporting her. And we know that that day will come on December the 4th. Hopefully, between now and then, we might end up with one-day election there. I don't know why in Trinidad and Tobago. We have an election in this country yesterday or Tuesday, one of them days.
Day before
And
yesterday.
it was one day.
Mhm.
Thousands and thousands and thousands and millions of people went to vote one day, right? And before the end of the day, there were many results. Georgia is still counting, but nobody got 50%, so there's going to be a runoff. Why? For just a few thousand people, you have to have an election for 9 days.
Well,
Something
Mr.
is
Wall
just wrong.
Street, we have challenged that already over and over. But let's look at it from the next side. I'm in full agreement with you. No more than 7,000 people come out for this internal elections. No more than 7,000. But they are saying they want to extend the days, the time, the opportunity to create more opportunity for more members to participate. I am willing to give way to that. But if you want to be so fair, then you can't stop there. You have to now take one other step and say, all right, on each day we have voting, we're going to tally the vote at the end of the day and say exactly what everybody got. And we sign off on it. The next day you do it, and on the third day, when you do it, you tally all over the 3 days. And then you declare the winner. But you make that call, they zip them out. They don't want to answer that. And I want to tell you, if you really are so genuine to want to make sure you have a wider form of participation in the process, then you can't want a greater amount of people participating in it on one hand, but on the other hand, you don't want it to be fair and transparent. What sense that make? It is easier to make it transparent than it is to change the system to accommodate more people. So you take the harder one and refusing to do the easier. It tells me that this thing ought to be viewed in such a way as to be suspicious. That is extremely concerning, and I'm saying on your platform tonight, if they don't allow the system where they tally the votes on a daily basis, I am declaring that he's going to win again, and I will not be recognizing him as the legitimate leader of the party from the following day thereafter. Because if you want to lead our party, you must become the leader in a transparent and fair process. And as it is now, no right-thinking citizen of our country would declare that what is before us now is something that is designed to give off that fairness and type of transparency that we're in search of. And then let me conclude on this. It is shocking.
You want to ask a question, Richard?
Sure, I'm coming, but
What's
it is
the question? What's the question?
Here's the question. It is shocking. Isn't it shocking that our great party could come to this?
Yes.
That's the question.
All right, Richard. Thank you so much, man. It's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure.
I think
All right, take
Richard
care.
did a good platform because he actually stated so much of what so many people do feel. And in fact, one of the things that has come out of this, out of every situation, you're going to, as history unfolds itself and as life unfolds, that we've learned certain things. And I don't think, had I not been the outsider coming in, we would have even known anything about this, because the contenders for the position were already inside the party, and therefore I don't think any of them would have be complaining, because especially for the leadership, nobody challenged the prime minister. I think someone was thinking of doing it, but thought the better of it for reasons I'm sure you've heard, like everybody else, and because they would be punished for doing that. And so I think they didn't expect someone from outside. And I would say, I am a PNM. I have never left the PNM. I have never joined any other party. I have never gone to any UNC meeting. I have never gone in a UNC Zoom meeting, because I could tell you if I had, they would show it to you. I have never, ever, ever done that. And that has been a deliberate policy on my part, because no one is going to say that I am a grasshopper, that I'm looking to see where I could better land. I am a PNM. And we have to, as a family, we have to fix our issues. If we think that our party is a good party, then in 1956, Eric Williams started this party and on a good, solid foundation. And I think, and we have survived through the years into another century, going into another century. I don't think anybody is going to say that we are unhappy with the PNM party. What we are happy with, the persons who are there, who are abusing, in my view, their position, and we cannot tolerate it. Because we love our country more than we love power, which is what it appears to me.
So yeah, we have another person. Ulrich, you have a question for Mrs. Karen Nunez Tesheira. Welcome.
Good, Tesheira.
Good evening.
It was very heartening to know that we have against Dr. Rowley, because I think everybody in Trinidad and Tobago, plus PNM supporters themselves, would like something like that to happen. But I want to, Richard, I wish you had asked Mr. Tesheira some questions instead of giving a long lecture. Ask some questions.
Ask the question, man.
It's here running me now and still look how long I Anyway, Tesheira, I want to find out from you, right? Two questions I have for you. One, I want to find out, when you was Minister of Finance, why did you raise the tickets from $100? The license tickets, traffic tickets, move from $100 to $1,000. And I also want to know what you have in store for pensioners. And if you anyway, I will just leave them two questions if for now on, so somebody else can get to ask some other questions.
Okay, so you're asking me to go back to 2007, and I know that when we do a budget, we always look for areas in which the impact, one, like things like tobacco and alcohol and areas like that we feel we can always increase the revenue take on that. You said the $100 to $1,000. I will confess that I can't recall. I'm not saying that you're not right. It may have been in the budget, and perhaps no one made to do about it, and that's probably why it does not strike me right now. With regard to what I would do, you have to remember I'm going up for the party elections. And, one of the things that I have to be very careful about, a lot of people just like you, everywhere, I'm sorry, but it's the truth though. It is the truth. They say, oh God, I just can't wait for you to get rid of that man. I can't wait for you to become the prime minister. And I have to tell them, I'm not going up for the prime ministership. You have a prime minister. But what I guess they are really trying to say, as this gentleman is saying, is there's such a level of cynicism, and disrespect that has been shown. So what would I do? Sometimes it's not good to tell all your little secrets, because then they can then adopt them. But I have said many of them. One of them, when they were saying I was being silent or not saying anything, I went back and looked at it. I looked at the cultural tourism, and I said Trinidad and Tobago had, you do a SWOT analysis, strength, weaknesses. And I said there was no other country in this part of the hemisphere. They had sand and sea, but none of them had what equivalent of what Mauritius had, because Mauritius, which is off the eastern coast of Africa, their sugar, when sugar prices collapsed, they had to look for some other form of earning revenue. And what they did was use what they had best. They had a population like ours, about 1.2 million, of Chinese, African, Indian, of all the races and all the cultures and all the religions. And what Trinidad has, it's the home of steel bands. So we have the steel band factories. We have not done enough on that, creating steel band factories, selling the steel bands and packaging them well. The home, Trinidad and Tobago, the home of steel band, putting in them videos, and in the videos, giving the history of steel band, but also offering lessons, getting young people to say, listen, you want to learn how to play classical music on the steel band? You can get in touch with A, B, and C, and he will teach you, and you'll pay him X amount. So we have the steel pan on one side. We also have the Paramin, we have the Parang, we have the Temple by the Sea, we have the Americans, We have our calypso, we have our soca, we have our chutney. And you know what? You are investing in the best thing, the most renewable resource, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And guess what? We are ahead of the game because we have Napa, we have Sapa, we have the stadias. We also have a level of UTT, Arthur Lockjack School of Business, the teaching in university where they teach them the arts and the theater and so on. So Trinidad and Tobago is well positioned to be the mecca of culture for the region because today's tourists, I did a paper on that. Today's tourist is about experience. They come into a country to have an experience. It just can't be about carnival. There's a lot more to it. We have so much more. We have the Muslim in going through St. James. There's so much. The spring we have so much that nobody else has, and so that's one area. And then I also looked at the entrepreneurship. Another paper that I wrote was on food security, because I don't know if you know that we import 80% of our food, and that's why countries like Lebanon and Sri Lanka and even Venezuela have themselves in trouble because they don't have the money to be able to buy food because they weren't growing the food. We have a downstream industry that produces the fertilizers, and I looked at Holland. And do you know that at least half or 2/3 of Holland is under the sea level? And yet they are a population of 17 million, the size of Maryland and United States, and the second global exporter of food in the world. We have a ministry and a faculty of agriculture. We can go there to understand how to deal with the flooding, and what they're doing a lot of is the greenhouses. So you don't have to have your agro industry in a place that's is flood prone, but they've also dealt with the flooding. So we're not having to reinvent the wheel. So we can develop a very strong agro, and I can go on and on and on. But I'm not the prime minister. But I can tell you that natural gas, I'll just get one more example. With natural gas, we have to recalibrate how we look at natural gas. It's a new world, and it's no longer, and what Trinidad has to focus on is going down the value chain in Port Lisa's industrial estate, and they're starting talking it. But the problem is that we're just not producing the gas. I won't call the name of the journalist, but he did ask the minister. He says 7 years you've gotten the production of gas wrong, and the fact is, gas is a factor of price and production. So we need to get a source of natural gas that is reliable, that will feed our downstream industries, and we can go further down, that will also facilitate LNG. Because if you know, in Europe, with the Russia-Ukraine war, they realized that transporting natural gas by the pipeline, they're blowing up the pipelines and all of that, and they're very vulnerable. So everybody wants to turn to LNG. Trinidad is ahead of the game. Of course, your minister said Train 1 was alive and well on CNN, and it was not the truth. But, say what?
So here we have also Ulrich, what, any question you feel have not been answered, Ulrich, I will take it, and I will make sure and pass it on to Karen, and I'm sure Karen will respond to any questions that you have. So, Ulrich, I'll
thank you for asking, though. Huh?
Yeah. Takesha, welcome. Takesha?
Maybe she doesn't have on her. She hasn't taken off.
Eugene Julian, put on your phone, please. Put on, unmute your phone. Unmute. Unmute so I can bring you in.
Yeah, maybe that's what she's not doing.
There we go. Let me bring in Eugene Julian.
Yeah.
Eugene Julian, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing fine, sir.
Welcome. This is one of our
Mean Gene.
Mean Gene. How are you doing, Mean Gene?
What you call him? Mean Gene. Oh, there you are. You have me scared already. I'm intimidated with that.
Mean Gene, what's your question for Karen Nunez Tesheira?
I don't have a question at this time.
Okay. All right. Thank you then. Take care. I thought you had a question. I thought you had something you wanted to ask Karen.
No, I'm listening. I don't have a question at this time.
So
Okay,
what
no
did you
problem.
think then? If you were listening, what did you think? I think that would be a good help to me to
Yeah.
see if I'm
So,
reaching
so
out.
what do you think, Eugene? That's what Karen is asking you.
Yeah, I'm asking you a question now.
Yeah.
What is the question? What do I think
What
about?
do
The
you
question
think?
is that I have spoken about what's going on with internal elections, which I think is really egregious and not acceptable for the party, and we need to deal with that. But I went further to look at it being reflected in the nationally public office, and it's reflected back, and that's why in my view, what's going on in the public domain is being reflected in how the elections are being conducted, or
Well,
they are seeking to conduct it.
I certainly agree with the earlier caller that was online about the 9 days, and Anselm said it well. There is no reason why this should be stretched out for 9 days. That's the first issue. And as Anselm said, elections, which was on Tuesday, I'm an election judge, have been an election judge here in the United States for approximately 20 years. And on election day, voting goes smoothly. Only in cases where there is a tight race where it may extend beyond one day, but usually you get your results by midnight. So I don't understand the procedure for this 9-day voting.
But it's not 9 days really, yeah. It's they have by having it on the 26th and the 27th and then the 4th, and this big hiatus, and nobody can understand why, but they know why, because they have plans for those boxes.
But
all I have to say, they must have plans for those boxes.
Some kind of explanation should be given as to the procedure,
Yeah,
transparency.
rationale.
Hey, Eugene, thank you so much, man. We appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think what is it that people want to hear is irrational, because I could do something, but then I have to ask you, well, why are you doing it? And unless you give me give an answer that's reasonable, then just question your motive.
Jamal, welcome. How are you doing, Jamal?
I'm okay. I'm calling from Moruga.
Okay.
Well, you have a question for Mrs. Karen Nunez Tesheira?
Yeah, I have a question. What is your take on the local election gimmick?
Yeah.
Notice because I know the people want to go to the polls, and I don't know what is the reason why you delayed for a process for an entire year. For what? I really don't know. Because something like that, we feel it's a lot in Moruga. Moruga, where I'm from, Moruga is one of the most underrated community there is in Trinidad and Tobago. And by postponing a local election, it just make the things tougher for us. Or we suffering with the worst road facility in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. Our roads are the worst in the world, I think, in Moruga. The PNM party has been neglecting us for so many years in Moruga that we don't even have something to say if somebody come from the seaweeds, a fishing village, a hunting village. If somebody get damaged, let me say 2 o'clock in the morning, you have to go all the way to San Fernando or Point 14. So, Mr. Tesheira, I want to know what is your take on the local election, and I also want to take what is your plans for our village where they make a marginal village such as Moruga.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
so let's
Jamal.
start with the two kind of really they're not hard questions, but they require a little bit of judicial review. Judicial review and it sounds very fancy, but what it is really is that other than judges, certain bodies are given authority to make decisions. And if a party says that they think that decision is unfair, unreasonable, and ultra vires, mean outside your powers, they can go to the court and ask for judicial review, a review by the court of that decision. So we are already seeing that application has been made to question why the local government elections has been put off for 1 year. Because it makes I can tell you why. I mean, I think most people will tell you why. You just got a lot of licks in Tobago, 14-1. Even with COVID, I call it COVID BC, before COVID in 2019. when everybody thought that Kamala Persad was a spent force, she got 2 seats. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a throat problem. And in fact, when they counted the votes, she got 54% of the votes as opposed to the PNM. So I think PNM is very concerned that if they were to call it, that they would lose. I can't even do.
Answer, give her a break then, some water or something, and resume. Answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, let her drink some water and gather herself.
So yeah. So
the cough won't go.
Yeah.
The more she tries to talk, the more she'll cough.
So all right. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna let wait for Karen to get herself back together, and then we will come back with her. So of course, Lana, you want to be up next? Let's put you in the background too, Lana. You're going to be up next. So I mean, Miss Tesheira's dealing with a cough there, so we're going to wait to see what happens when we get back. But of course, folks, it's in the village with the DAT triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. It's the first time in the history that we are having a town hall meeting with a candidate running for the political leader of the People's National Movement, and we are doing this live. We're waiting for her. Once she comes back, we will bring her back in, So I know what we'll do. Let's go for a quick station identification. We will go for station identification. Hold up. So Karen, we're gonna go for station identification, and we'll be back. Okay, we'll be back. Okay. So let's go for station identification. It's in the village with the DAT triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. Stick.
Vote Karen Nunez Tesheira, the boss lady, for political leader of the PNM. Vote Karen Nunez Tesheira, the boss lady. Change is coming. The new political leader of the PNM. Change is coming.
Hello, high water, I would just rise and embrace you, protecting my children in every way. Even when you fight and argue about different fathers, remember, the middle passage brought them straight to my door. Mama never worry about no race, I just love them. And so my blood is boil when you start to walk. I will always be there for you. No matter what you do, whatever joy or pain that you are going through, I will always be there for you. I will be always there for you.
Okay, let's bring back Karen.
I hope I got over my coughing fit, but what I was that I think the reason why they're delaying it, well, you have a judicial review application coming up, and the application really is saying that these councillors were elected, not just appointed, elected for 3 years. And the effect of you extending the year for the local government elections by this legislation, you effectively keeping people who were not elected for another year in positions, and something has to be basically unfair and unjust, and what they call legitimate expectations of other people who wanted to apply for positions of councillors, aldermen, by continuing and allowing the legislation to go into another year, you are in fact sort of defeating or preventing them from having an opportunity. So I think the judicial review application is going to be successful. From a political point of view, I think the reason why they have put it off a year is because, as I said, in 2019 BC, before COVID, Kamala, who was thought to be a spent force, but was not getting much financial support, certainly actually got most of the popular votes. And then most recently, we saw what happened in Tobago. I don't think you can get a better licks than that. Well, just one more seat and you would have gotten a better licks. So the writing is on the wall for the PNM that if they go forward the local government election, which is like dress rehearsal, is like preparing for national elections. The impact, I believe, of having that will be so devastating to the PNM that they are using this ploy, which I don't think is going to work. I think the young man is going to be successful in a judicial review, that using that ploy to hold it back for an entire year. That's something is basically unfair. It is in breach of a person's legitimate expectations, and they're keeping people in positions who were not whose position is COVID.
So, folks, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go for a quick station identification. It's in the village with the DAT triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. Stick and stay. We'll be right back after this short message. It's in the village with the DAT triplets. Stick and stay. We'll be right back. So, folks, all the folks in the background, can you just hold right there? We'll be right back, and we're going to bring you into the program.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
This is small, I want to know why it is this whole so, why it is this hunger, hatred, and sorrow. Since I'm small, I wonder all the questions I'm asking, why it is this world going as it will. Why it is that good things come to those who buy, and the more you kind is the more you sad. Why some have it easy and some have it hard? Tell me why, tell me why. The man with the gun and the naughty fun, the man on the run is the guilty one. If it is so, that will be done. Tell me why, I want to know why. Why? The pure the heart, the greater the strife. The smaller the pan, the harder the life. The slower the cap, the sharper the knife. Tell me why.
So, folks, we are back with you. It's in the village with the DAT triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. Let me bring back in Mrs. Tesheira, and let me bring in another person here.
Can I just finish answering this question?
Yes.
Because I answered the question from a political point of view, that they don't want to have a local government election because all the signals are there that they're not going to do well. And that is not good for a national election because it's sort of like a dress rehearsal as what to expect in a national election. So all the signs are not good. But the other thing which the caller may have been alluding to is that the local government, current local government legislation, what it has done, it has taken the what you will call the municipal corporations and the boroughs, which is 5 of them, and now it says that the only tax that they have to pay, what Section 77 says, is the property tax on the residents. Now, under the old municipal corporation legislation, they had something called house rates. Now, that's very misleading because I think it's houses. But under the house rate system, you paid not only on residences, but you paid on stores, factories, shops, etc. Because you might imagine that if you're living in a municipal, in a city, that's the kind of buildings that you're going to find. So let us use, for example, Frederick Street. I don't know how many residences you'll find on Frederick Street, but you certainly will find a lot of stores, buildings being rented out a lot of times to government. The government is one of the main tenants to the landlords. And so what happens is that under the old municipal corporation legislation, land, what they call house rates, included all of that property. Now, under the local government act, what they have done is brought the municipal corporation as a separate entity as they do before. Before the property tax was said that, listen, we're not making any difference between municipal, city, or anything. Once you are residential, if you're living in Kwaito, if you're living in Arima, it doesn't matter. You pay 3% on the annual rateable value. I'm not going to do the maths for that. But the point is, it's 3% across the board. But what they're doing under this new local government legislation is now all those municipal corporations that had to pay rate.
Okay, folks.
I think she has a nasal drip and it's irritating her throat.
Yeah.
Something warm. She needs to get something warm. That will help.
But anyhow, what they said is only paying on residential. So if you have stores and buildings on Frederick Street, under this new legislation, you're only going to pay taxes on residency. So all the shops and stores and factories that you used to have to pay a tax on under the old Municipal Corporation Act. Under this new act, the only property that is subject to the property tax is residential, and it says it very clearly. If you have a building, if you are on Frederick Street, for example, and you own stores and buildings and you rent it to the government, you know, nearly you would pay you're almost not going to pay any taxes because few of those buildings would qualify as residences. The other thing people don't know, which I think needs to be said in general, is that prior to the property tax, if you lived in a municipal corporation, you could pay up to 10% of what the valuation of that property is in that municipal corporation. The problem was, and I imagine it still is, in Port of Spain, do you know when is the last time they had valued property? 1975. Yes. So if you had a house in St. Clair, I mean, I know people who live in those areas. If you had a house in St. Clair Federation Park, that is worth $8-9 million today, you would pay on a 1975 valuation, which would be probably 300,000. So even though now you're paying 3%. Before you used to pay 10%, but 10% of what? Of a 1975 valuation. So what I am saying, just to end up on that whole topic, is you cannot just look at the property tax. You have to look at the valuation, because if the valuation department does not update the valuation of properties, when you apply 10%, you're really doesn't matter. Because if you are paying 3% on a property that was last valued in 1975, how much taxes are you really paying? As opposed to people living in San Fernando, Point Fortin, they updated their valuation. So although they were only paying, let's say, 2% before, when you looked at the taxes they were paying because the properties had been revalued, they were paying much more. Now, under this local government in legislation, they have taken out house rates completely, which included all of what I just said. And the only property that you pay taxes on in the municipal corporation is on residences. How many residences are there on Frederick Street, on Charlotte Street, on Henry Street? But what I know you have on those so on one of those streets, a lot of buildings that are rented by the government from landlords who rent to the government, because most of the properties in the city, in the main cities, are being rented to government agencies, and that cannot be right. So two things
So,
with it. I'll finish with it. Judicial review, which I think is going to be successful, and the fact that now you have excluded from their taxation shops, stores, etc., and limited to residences, which cannot be right when you're dealing with a place like Port of Spain.
so thank you. Let's bring in someone else here. Takesha, are you there?
Good night,
Takesha.
handsome. Good night, everyone.
Hi, how are you?
You hear me?
Yes.
I'm
What
all
is
right.
your
Good night,
question?
Ms. Karen Tesheira. I
good
have a
morning.
question.
Yeah.
One of my questions is, when you got the chance to be the leader of the PNM party, I'm not using the word if, I'm saying when
Oh,
you
there
got
we
the
go.
chance to lead the PNM party, what would be your main focus? Is it party or country? Reason said is because most time leaders forget we are citizens in this country. And last but not least, this is on a prime minister prospect, if you get the chance, would you consider raising minimum wage and put jobs in place for the younger ones coming out of school and create programs for them?
Okay, so
Thank you.
those are very good questions. So
Thank you,
one of
Takesha.
the things that I have been very strong on is the issue of entrepreneurship. I say that there are many opportunities for young people to become entrepreneurs. You know the Chowkin story, right? Everybody learned about this man who was the young guy trying to make money selling pineapple in little plastic bags. And eventually, well, somebody took him under their wings and helped him. But it's not so much raising the minimum wage, you see, because what they can do, two things. I'm sorry to say, but this country allowing so many Venezuelans who are unregistered in this country, just two things. They undercut your salary, so they work for less than you would work. So they're working for less than the minimum wage. That's one. Two, they are not paying NIS. Neither is their boss paying NIS. So when you reach retirement age and you are looking for your pension or for your senior citizens grant, these persons would not have contributed to that. So my response to that is that it is not so much raising the minimum wage, because what they do is give you 3 and 4 hours of work. And even the minimum wage, is it a living wage? What you want to do, and what I would like to see, is to create a whole band of entrepreneurs working both in the cultural tourism sector, working in the agro-industry sector, so that now, instead of having 4 and 5% of this country being the persons who are only the ones that are benefiting from the wealth of this country, we make sure that we convert these young people into entrepreneurs, create apprenticeship programs, so that at the end of the day, they are able to have their own businesses. So for me, and then they can employ people. They can employ people, and they can go up the value. They can go and contribute to the country. So my number one thing is crime. You cannot make a dent in anything unless you deal with crime. And everybody knows what is the cause of crime in this country. Everybody's giving a Panadol, which is probably what I needed to take, and not taking antibiotic, which is what this country needs. They do not want to deal. Talking about parents, all we know is that just makes things more difficult and makes those communities more vulnerable. So my answer is, we need a and I already have it in mind, but I don't want to say it, and I prefer not to say it in public because you can understand. But I can tell you, I do have a plan for dealing with crime and the murder rate and the money laundering and the drug trade that is destroying our young people. And I have a plan. I think it can work. And whilst we do that, we develop the cultural tourism component, and we develop the entrepreneurs in agro-industrial and other areas, so that we develop a whole cadre of young people who no longer are looking out for a little Canada, a little CPEP, a little that, but can in their boat become entrepreneurs. But it has to start with dealing with the crime. And I do have a plan, but I don't want to. It will be effective.
So Karen, she also asked a question, but if you become leader of the PNM, are you going to be for people or country? I think Karen is
party or country.
Party or country? It's party? Okay, party or country. Thank you.
Well, no, it can never be party or country because it's the country. If the party doesn't see that what it's doing is for the country, then something wrong with the party. Because the party is there in order to hopefully be successful and be able to govern the country, to be able to be the party that has won the hearts and minds of the majority of the citizens. And they say to you, we want you to be the one to govern the country. You cannot separate party from the country. So if the party is not in order, which is what we are saying, if the party lacks transparency and accountability, if the party is conducting its business in a way that does not encourage one to have confidence in them, and in fact, the same thing you see within the party, you're seeing in the national, in our public office, we know, and we know the procurement legislation up to now, they can't pass that. The gambling legislation up to now, they can't pass that, and they shouldn't even pass it because it's a form of money laundering. The FIU, we should not have a West Indian, a Trinidadian heading up the FIU. When I was there, we were getting someone from Latin America, and the Americans, yes, the Americans were helping us with that. So what I want to say to you is you cannot separate the party from the country, because if you are committed to the party, it's because you are committed to the country. You cannot separate the two.
So here's the next question from Lana. How are you doing, Lana? Lana, what's your question for Karen, Lana? I think Lana. There we go, Lana. Yes, we're hearing you now. Go ahead. What's your question for
Good night,
Karen?
Mr. Shera.
Good night. Good night.
My question is, Mr. Shera, if you should become the political leader of the PNM, although we already have a Prime Minister, the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley, what would be your job portfolio, and what would you be able to do, not being the Prime Minister, just the political leader of the PNM, to make things better for citizens and country? That is my question tonight.
That's a very good question. And you can't underestimate the power of the party, because at the end of the day, it's the party that decides who goes up for elections. It's the party that decides who they wanted to go up and contest a constituency. It is the party that decides what are the values that it believes that the government should carry in, that's carried into governance. So the party has a very strong role to play in terms of the governance of the country. And it has to start with setting standards. It has to start with setting a structure, and it has to start with setting accountability. So that when the Prime Minister or Minister or whatever, there are questions that arise in the public domain, they have to answer to the party. And the party has to insist that they get an answer, that they are accountable to us, because what you will be saying and what will happen is those very same persons who are holding those offices will not be holding those offices for very long. So the party has a very strong role in terms of how the country once it goes into government. And that is why they want to take control of the party still. Why are they not satisfied with being the MPs and being the cabinet ministers? They don't have time to run, but they want control. And control is what they want over the party. And once they do not have that control over the party, and they have to wrestle the control to the party leadership, it means it's going to translate into how they run the government in the years that they are there. And then after those years are over, when those years are over, we now look at a different ball game, because now the party is going to decide who they want or do not want to go up for elections. Who and the questions that have to be answered. There's so many questions that need to be answered. I'm sure they don't want me inside there at all. Because one thing I would ask them is, where you get the money to build Balizé House? Where you get the money to build Balizé House? Right over that, must be about $50 million. Who's financing that? There is no financier who puts money into any party and the kind of financing they must put in that they're not looking for a return on investment. And I am not going to put up with that. I am not going to be part of that. So you see those days of you telling me that this one is going to run the party and tell the party what to do, those days will be over. And we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we will take control of our party and our country. And we will not allow a handful of people to run your country and run your party. Because they run your party, and because they run the party, they tell the government what to do. And they can lay down the role, they can lay down the expectation, because they are funding the party. So you can't separate it, and I will not be part of that.
So
That
Karen,
is what I tell you for
here
sure.
we go. We have Gat. Gat, are you there, Gat? Gat, are you there? Hello, Gat.
On mute.
Are you there, Gat? Gat? God going once, God going twice. Okay. We'll come back to God. We'll come back to God. So let me see if Yolanda. Yolanda, are you there? Yolanda? Hello, Yolanda. Okay, here's God. Here's God. We bring God back in. God, are you there?
No, he's not here. I'm using his phone.
Okay, all right. Hello, how are you doing?
Good. I'm listening to Karen. I believe in everything that she's saying. I'm backing her strongly.
Do you have any questions for her?
No, I'm just listening at this moment.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
But I want to say to you, Aunt Slim, one of the most touching things for me over the last few weeks is the number of persons who have come up to me unsolicited and said to me, or send me WhatsApp or text, and just tell me, you know something, you're courageous, you're brave, we need someone like you. We're so happy that you're doing this. It is really very telling that people feel that strongly about my going up, because they have had enough. And there's a kind of, I really feel there's a sense of cynicism, a sense of disenchantment, that people feel that if something is not done to change the status quo, where is this country going to end up? Because the way it is going now, it is in the hands of a few people. And as your Prime Minister has said, unapologetically, what's wrong with people getting rich? What's wrong with people being rich? Huh? What's wrong with them being rich? When you have a Prime Minister talking like that, he should go into business, not be running a government, right? Because he obviously does not understand his own 2030 vision, his 2020 vision, which number one talks about not so much poverty, but inequality among persons. The inequality, and this country is suffering for severe inequality. And apparently, he has no problem going and tripping the Light Fantastic in Hyatt and being around these people that have all this money and this display of wealth, this vulgar display of wealth, whilst people are actually suffering in this country. You are suffering. People don't have food, to feed their children. The cost of food has gone through the roof, and people are looking, they can't feed their children, they can't pay the electricity bill. And you have a government that is building a huge house in Tobago entertaining. That's the life you like. It's very seductive, but that's not, you shouldn't be in government. What you should be is go in private practice and be a private citizen and run your business. But if you want to be my prime minister and you want to run our country and you care about me as a citizen, you're in the wrong job.
So here we have Anthony Wilson, Nicholas Anthony. Nicholas Anthony, welcome. How are you doing?
Good night. Good night.
What is your question for Mrs. Carmen Nunez Tesheira?
Well, my question is, if I don't know if anybody in asked us yet, good evening to the panel and the future PNM leader. Really betting on you.
Thank you.
One question. Will you reinstall citizen Trinbagonians' democratic right to vote when it comes to democracy on time? Will you reinstate local elections and make the call before March 2023?
Well, I wouldn't be able to do it because I wouldn't be the, I'm going up for the internal party election. But if I had my way, and I was in a position to do that, one of the first things I would do, which the Prime Minister, they all say they're going to do things and they don't do it. So one of the things the Prime Minister said that he was going to do, but he didn't do, but I know I would do it, is I would cap the allowance for cars to 350,000. It is ridiculous that any MP could have an allowance that goes up to $1 million, which is equivalent to somebody's house. I mean, how could you do that? And when it comes to local government elections, I'm not, that is something that you're dealing with the legislative branch, you're dealing with the executive branch, but I certainly will use all my powers of persuasion, as I'm doing now, to challenge the government into calling the election, but it's going to solve itself, because there's something called a court. The court dealt with them with Sajiko and Maritime. The court dealt with them with Jawala Rambaran. The court dealt with them with FUL, with Gary Griffith. The court dealt with them with the Board of Inland Revenue lady who was going up for chairmanship. So the court is going to deal with them, because that's the thing about our democracy. While the executive and the line between executive and legislative becomes blurred, because the same people who run in your country are the ones in parliament making the laws. There's something called the court. And when we have the court is going to decide about whether the Faris Arawi, who has made blunder after blunder after blunder. I have nothing against him. I taught him at law school. He's a very pleasant young man. And so it's not personal. But he certainly has not shown himself up to the task of being I don't even want to say. Let's just say in dealing with anything of a legal nature. And I suspect that the court will deal with them. So I don't have to deal with them.
So Karen, here's a question. Thanks, Nicholas Anthony, for joining us from down in the Southland. Here's a question from the chat, right? It says, I think you may have addressed this, Karen, but it says, Mr. Sheriff, one day you become Prime Minister, what is your vision for the country?
Oh gosh, I've said it, many times, but no problem if you ask me it again. One thing we got to do to deal with is the crime, and in a real way, not this thing about boots on the ground, family problems, you don't have a mother and father. All those communities. Steve Alvarez, if you don't mind me calling his name, he said he was from up there, and he lived there 30 years ago, and the only thing he could worry about was a dog bite. And in those days, he only had Jude, he didn't have school for 5 years, and he certainly had much more poverty. So if you want to pretend that you don't understand what is the reason why we have crime, and and people talk about murder, and you see, and I hope I'm not going off the point, but I think it's important to say this. Sometimes when people look at the murder rate, they say, well, it's the scams killing each other out, so that's a good thing. But you know what happens? Then it starts touching you, because you are afraid to leave your house at 7 o'clock at night. You are afraid to come in your house at 7 because you're looking around to see if there's somebody going to hold you up. You are afraid to go out anywhere, unlike in other countries. You are living in a constant state of anxiety and fear, not because you're going to get murdered, because you're living in a constant state of crime. So one of the things I know I will deal with, and it has to be dealt with on no uncertain terms, is the cause of the crime in this country, number one. Number two, I do think that we have to get a supply of natural gas that will allow us to really develop the Port Elisa's industrial estate and go further down. I've spoken about that, and I've said that we cannot be dependent on the Shell and the BPTT because their shareholders will say, listen, price of oil, gas has gone down, get out of, start making different, what they call it, the non-fossil fuel energy, and that hasn't worked. So I think we want to focus on going down the value chain with the Port Elisa's industrial estate. And as I've already said, creating a whole host of entrepreneurs, looking at what Holland did, because they are two-thirds underwater, and they're the second largest exporter of food. And we are importing too much food. Another thing I would do is all that chicken and chips franchises we have in this country, and all of those franchises we have in this country. Do you know, I found out by chance that when it comes to tobacco, they make them pay an additional charge because tobacco is supposed to be dangerous. Well, that chicken and chips is very dangerous because if you do anything about, which I'm not a health expert, but I was in government and I knew we dealt with the issue of the Ministry of Health. They call it non-communicable diseases. And that is your diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure. And the causes of that all through the Caribbean, all through the world, is diet and lack of exercise. And we have in this country, everywhere you turn, all these foreign franchises using up my foreign exchange, using up your foreign exchange, and you can get $200 from the bank. When you go to ask for 200 US, you have to spin around, and they tell you, come back tomorrow. But somehow they could get it, right? Using up our foreign exchange, paying those young people. No wonder they don't stay in a job. Where are they going with those jobs? Where are they going with those jobs? Underemployed, and they have children to see about. And we continue that cycle. So it is time to bring an end to that cycle. Start charging them. If you want to bring it in, number one, reduce the amount. Number two, if you're going to bring in any, it should be local. And if you have any foreign, you let them start paying how they pay for tobacco. Because I feel very strongly about that, right? The other thing is, I already said that we need to diversify, and two main areas of diversification which immediately come to mind is cultural tourism, which I have to say that the Augustine in Tobago, I must say, the way that he advertised it, the way that he pulled it together, the way that it was very focused and tight, I really admired it. Now in Trinidad, you know what they do? They go up by Parliament and open up something by Parliament, and then they go down by one of the steel bands, and they say they're dealing with cultural tourism. Give me a break. Give me a break, right? Because they're not putting the money into that. 93% of our money, our revenue goes into recurring expenditure. So it is time to trim all of those state enterprises. Could you imagine for the potholes that the gentleman spoke about in Maruga, right? Why is it we have all these potholes? Do you know why? Because when the government closed down Petrotrin, it supplied the bitumen. And the bitumen is mixed with the asphalt. And that is what they use to pave the roads. When they closed it down, we had no bitumen. So all the roads in Trinidad and Tobago are like little potholes. But you know what the answer is? I mean, the insult of all insults. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to form a $100 million company to deal with the potholes. How about that should never have happened in the first place? How about Lake Asphalt, where you give a subvention to these people who have no work of 2.5 million and accord every month? And according to the member on the opposition, when he asked the minister, because they moved it from energy to the Minister of Works, they asked him, are you paying the NIS for the Lake Asphalt employees? Are you paying their pension for the Lake? Because you're breaking the law if you're not, and you are the government, right? I don't think he was able to answer that question. So what I'm saying to you is, these areas that have been neglected, we need to deal with the flooding. Let's look and see what Holland did. How did they deal with their flooding? And when we deal with the flooding, we need to stop importing so much food, bring down our food bill, because you know when you bring down the food bill, you bring down your inflation, because the number one driver of inflation in our country is food. And what that means is that even if you're working for $3,000, if you go in one of these large supermarkets, which are controlling the import of food in this country, if you were working for $3,000, by the time you pay for food to feed your children, if you have $1,500 left, you're lucky, because your purchasing power has been completely eroded. So it is time that this government stops importing all this food. It's time this government stops allowing certain people to control this country and bringing a set of food that is only increasing your health bill. Your health bill. Most of my daughter's a doctor, and she worked in she, you don't like me saying that because she's not here anymore, but she worked in Port of Spain General Hospital, and in the accident emergency. How many of you know what she used to tell me? Maybe she may not like me saying this, but you know what she used to tell me? She used to tell me that a lot of the people that came there, it wasn't people that were in had a medical problem, social problems, neglect. These people would come there soaking in urine, and all they wanted was a clean bed to sleep in and food to eat. And that is the neglect of this government, but allowing all of these franchises in this country at the expense of you and me. I wouldn't put up with it. I'm telling you straight up. Yes, I will not put up with it because I feel very strongly about it. And the crime that they pretend that they don't know what is the problem. Why are they allowing all these Venezuelans in this country? There's not a week that passes that you don't hear about a Venezuelan involved in some crime. Whether it is they're dealing with what they call it, human trafficking, whether it's guns. What they are not Trinidadians, they're not CARICOM citizens, they are not English speaking. What are they doing in our country? Colombia just open up the border, go to Colombia and go home. We need to get a national survey. And what about the DNA? Why can't you solve the crime? America was able, as we speak today, and you know that, Anslim, they call it cold cases. You know how many cases they have been able to solve because of DNA? Every person in Trinidad and Tobago who has a criminal record and either an indictable offense or summary indictable, you must give a sample of your DNA, and you have to build up a thing of a DNA DNA lab and a ballistics lab, and tell me if they can't solve the problems. Tell me if they can't solve the problem. And the helicopters, remember when somebody was missing, and then we found out the 4 helicopters, not one working. You know what they said? Because it was too expensive to fix. Give me a break. Give me a break. And you remember in Tobago, I saw it in the news there. One little boat that Tobago had from the customs, and it was tilted to the side because it was about to fall into the sea. Bloomberg did a study on, give me a break, right? So you want to ask me what I would do? Yeah, I saw one person they're afraid of is the Americans.
So Karen,
person they're afraid of is the Americans.
So Karen, we have had you now for an hour and 35 minutes.
I might be putting myself at risk, but you know what? Answer before we sign off. The thing about it is that one of the reasons that I am so, people tell me, oh gosh, Karen, be careful. How many people have told me that? But if anything happens to me, you all will know why. And if this country will allow something to happen to me or to anybody close to me, you will understand that this country has descended into complete anarchy. And if you are prepared to allow a bunch of people who have no loyalty to this country, for something to happen to me or to anybody close to me, don't think hard to know why. I did not have an accident. I did not fall on the ground. I did not anything. If anything happened to me, you understand. That is why I'm coming out. Because if don't come off, don't do me anything. Because if this country allows anything to happen to me or my family, this country is beyond saving.
Wow. Ms. Tesheira, I just wanted, thank you for coming in. I just wanted to give you a
No more
homeopathic remedy.
coffee. No more coffee.
Boil some onion skin. Boil some onion skin and drink the water. It helps with the nasal
What's
dripping.
that? Onion skins? Oh God, onion.
Yeah.
You
Onion
tried that
skins.
already, Diana?
Yes.
And it worked?
Yes, it helps with the dripping.
Okay. I'm not going to try it though.
Well, Karen, I must say that this is the first time that we have tried something like this, and I want to say that it was very successful. A lot of people came in, a lot of people asked questions, and I think the good thing about you, Karen, is that you are very frank, straightforward, and you want transparency and accountability, and part of your goal is to make the PNM party better, and I think that any human being, any right-minded thinking human being will want an organization that they are supporting to improve and become better. And the good thing about tonight, Karen, is that you didn't attack anybody personally, like how they have been attacking you personally and calling you all kind of names. But I have to say, Karen, I think from now on, Karen, they ain't gonna call you no more names. And
That's what I was told actually. Somebody told me, somebody said to me, "I wouldn't do it anyhow because that's not who I am, and I won't go down. It's just not who I am. I can't go down that road." But somebody did tell me though. They said they realized people came out, not me, but a lot of people came out and expressed their outrage at going down that road. And so they realized they better leave that alone.
Yeah, because they had a thing on Tuesday and Wednesday, and they were very civil. I must say, very, very civil. And that is what we are all supporting the same party, and that's what it should be.
Right.
Discuss the policies of the party, what you guys are going to bring. You're discussing what you're going to bring, some things that you would like to see different, and you're going to be changes, and let's deal with that. But don't call people, don't the center calling people all kind of names and unacceptable. But Karen, also
it doesn't bother me though,
I know. But
it doesn't bother me because I actually say to myself, when you have to do something like that, you really reach to go down that level. That's desperation. But let's leave it alone. Each his own.
But we have to let them know that you cannot. They're not allowed. Go ahead, Tommy. You wanted to say something? Tommy?
Yes, indeed. Karen, good evening.
Good evening.
Karen?
Yes?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed. Yes, I wanted to say I'm still backing you, and I truly believe you're gonna win. However, they have to remember one thing: when words leave your mouth, you can't take it back.
Yes.
Once you spew venom out of your lips, you can't put it back in. You can't just suck it back in. So they have to remember to be impeccable with their words.
I say once the toothpaste is out of the tube, you can't put it back in.
And you know what too? I would just want to say when you're saying that, when people come to me and they say, Karen, why don't you say this and why don't you say that? I said, let me tell you something. I am only going to say what I think I believe I can do. Because I'm not going to make a set of unbroken promises. People are tired of that. They're tired of politicians saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. And they don't deliver. I only say what I believe that I can deliver and what I am committed to delivering. And I've had the experience as Minister of Finance, and I could tell you it was not an easy time with CL Financial and CLICO and oil prices collapsing to $23. I think I got a good baptism by fire during that period, and I had a fantastic prime minister. Sometimes just to say this, one of the reasons why I've always maintained my loyalty, I suppose, to Mr. Manning is because I believed in his vision for sure. I definitely believed in his vision and his nurturing people, creating innovative people, all those things. I believed in what he believed in. But what I really loved about Mr. Manning, and which is why I have never, ever, and never will. I've had enough years and I've been tried and tested. They could never get me to go against him. Never. Because when he could have, as he did with others, fire them, or say, you know, Tesheira, you see the CL financial thing, why don't let another minister deal with it? Or Tesheira, why don't put you in another ministry? He never did me that. You know why? Because he had confidence and belief in me. And he had the power under the Constitution to appoint and disappoint. And through my entire years I was there, Mr. Manning, I could never be disloyal to him. Not only the man, Mr. Manning, because I wasn't, you know, people think I just used to call him every week. And you know, I just want to tell you, I never saw anybody like Mr. Manning. I said, Mr. Manning, I am so depressed about what's going on. And he always so upbeat. You're always so upbeat. I spoke to him on the Friday before he died. And what he never did, which people might be surprised to hear, but then maybe not because of the man he was. You know, when we used to speak, we didn't used to speak about other ministers and who is this and who is that, you know. We would talk about what we would do for the country, what plans he had. He's always thinking about what he could do and what the things that he could bring in. His mind was always going. I had such admiration for that man.
And Karen, I think we're going to leave on that note. But Karen, there are a few people in the village saying that we need to have Karen in the village once a week.
Without coughing, though. Without coughing. And you know, this happened only this evening, you know.
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah. But Karen, we want to thank you so very kindly. You know, any closing words before you go?
No, I think I've said it all, and I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate the questions, and I will do my best not to let down anyone and to be true to the vision of Mr. Manning and the vision of Trinidad and Tobago, and that every citizen would get an opportunity to enjoy the wealth and participate in the wealth of this country.
And Karen, just before you go, in 30 seconds or so.
I can't talk.
Okay, all right. So we leave it there.
I have to get some onion peel.
All right, so we leave it there. Thank you so much, Karen. Take care.
I have to get Dan. I have to go and get the onion peel as soon as I come off the show. I'm going and get the onion peel because it looked like I need some onion peel.
Okay, Karen, thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you, and I love you. I love my country, and I love you for having me on. And it was a great pleasure and an honor and a privilege to be part of Wall Street and Slim, Diane, all of you. And I cannot thank you enough for having I want to say this, now I'm getting back my voice to say this. I cannot thank you enough, Anne Slim LeBon. I cannot thank you enough for having confidence and trust and belief in me. I cannot, there are no words that can express because you didn't know me from before. And it is clear that you believe in me and you believe in my sincerity. And I just absolutely thank you from the bottom of my heart. And the people of Trinidad and Tobago, I want you to know that I love each and every one of you. And my objective on this planet until God calls me home is to make sure that I make a contribution to Trinidad, to a better Trinidad and Tobago, not for a few people to get richer, and for the rest of us to be suffering. No way. Not under Karen Tesheira.
Karen, thank you so much. Take care. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right,
okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye, Diane. I'm going to get the onion.
Good night, Karen.
Okay.
Good night.
Well, that's passion for you, boy. I tell you. I don't know what else to say, you know. I mean,
I tell you. Sorry. Yeah. I want to apologize to the village for coming in late because I had some personal family matters.
No, don't worry yourself, man. Don't worry yourself. You know, when I sit back and listen to these type of this was the first time that we tried something like this, right? And I think we have to try to do it at least once a week. You know, because what it is that, you know, sometimes you go on other programs in Trinidad and you get 15 minutes to talk, you know, and sometimes 15 minutes just go by so quick that you don't get to talk about all the things that you would like to do for the country. And I feel what we are doing here, we give a lot of people, time in order for them to discuss certain things. And I think I believe in Karen's sincerity, her loyalty, and about a few years ago, some people always tell me, well, why you were supporting that fella? All you know who that fella is.
Right.
Right? They say, why you were supporting that fella? And that fella became the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. You know what I mean? So, I think there's a lot of people who quietly, supporting Karen, but they can't come out publicly, because if they come out publicly, the 4Ds will be inflicted on them. They will be demonized, dismissed, destroyed, and discredited. So they have to kind of stay, in the background.
Down low.
Yeah, that's only down low. You know what I mean? So let me just say a few welcome here to some people in the chat. Let me get rid of this person here. Hold on, eh? I'll get rid of that person there. Hold on. All right, let me go down here. I'll block you, sir. Yeah. Okay, so Takesha says, Ray Stelt, welcome. Hope Karen live up to her words and get a chance in the party as leader, because I've seen power goes to most of them here. Denise G said, not a bad idea. Perhaps you can submit question ahead of time also. Not a bad idea. That's a good idea. Since this is the first time we try something like this, but this is the first time we actually try something like this with any person running for candidate.
I think we have an exemplar in the Caribbean of Mia Motley that's going to create a domino effect when it comes to women in leadership in the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
And she's an inspiration.
Yeah, boy. And people go say, well, what the sad thing is, boy, is that when you have people like Stuart Young, who is a Stuart Young come lately in the PNM, right? And a person like Nylon Hippolyte, former Laventil West MP, who been toiling in the vineyards for the PNM for years. And when the PNM went in 2015, they get kicked to the curb. And Stuart Young want to come and call people all kind of names and all kind of things. Come on, man.
But like I said before, I'll say again, his boss has to take responsibility for his behavior, for his spewing of venom and disparaging remarks that he's been making, and he made that he cannot take back. Even if he stops at this particular point, he cannot take back the damage that he has already done.
He cannot take it back. He cannot take it back. But Tommy,
and the voters should take that into consideration and realize that you cannot give power to people of that ilk.
And Tommy, I've said in that piece, when people show you who they are, take them at face value. When they show you who they are, it's funny. I never thought Stuart Young was that type of person, to be honest with you.
He cannot undo what he's done. He cannot undo that damage that he's done.
No, he can't undo it. He can't undo it. But we could forgive him because.
But not forget what he's done.
Yeah. But remember, the deputy political leader of the PDP has a video that says Fitzgerald Hines F you. And what she said is for Jill Hines will forgive you. Right? People think she was cussing him, but she really wasn't cussing him. Based on what happened up in Rose Hill RC school, and his insensitive, you know, Diana, it seemed to be some kind of epidemic in the PNM with these ministers making statements that is so insensitive to the core. But as we said, a fish doesn't rotten from the tail.
But didn't you say what? Didn't you say what Claude said about a race that is taught to hate itself?
Yes, a race that's taught to hate itself and love the world would become its own oppressor.
Okay.
A race that's taught to hate itself.
So what race is making the PNM? Stuart Young is a tiny?
No. What that is actually saying, Diana, is that Stuart Young can call us names, all right? And being that many of us hate ourselves so much, we will accept that type of behavior.
He'll get away with it.
He'll get away with it. That's right, Tommy.
And still maintain power.
There's no consequences for his behaviors like that. None. Because you should see them on social media. Well, I still supported him, right? What wrong? Yeah, I still supported him. Yeah, nobody jump up, nobody publicly jump up and say, you know, Stuart, nah, that ain't right. Don't go there. All you notice, Camille Regis Robertson quiet now, right? All you notice that, right? She quiet now, She quiet. Right? I guarantee you, Stuart Young will be very selective with his words now, He have to be.
Why is she quiet? Because y'all question $93,000?
Well, I mean, me asking no question, Diana. You want to ask a question, Diana? Diana, if you want to ask a question, ask a question. But I mean, you know, and that is, and I've said this over and over. We are fighting an internal election. I think this is the first time that there's a viable candidate. When I say viable, right, a candidate who has to be taken very seriously against Prime Minister Rowley, right? And all of them now coming out and just is venom they're spewing. You know, and
you know they're all gonna have to take WZYE very serious and know that WZYE, even though we are operating by remote control, will make a major difference in that country, the Trinidad and Tobago.
Correct.
We have already done it. We have already done it for Tobago.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and they could and here's the next thing, right? People in Trinidad, sometimes I just understand if people really understand social media. Now, we don't have 300 people on our live like other people that are 300 people. But I guarantee you, 1,000. But I guarantee you, many people have gone to our broadcast and took pieces of our broadcast and broadcast it out there, and it gets thousands of views.
Not just that, we have many listeners who are quiet listeners who don't even get involved in the chat or even the blog or whatever other chats we may put out there. They never get involved, but they listen and they listen.
And Tommy, think about this. We have started something now. Nobody can ever say that Karen was running from questions. The whole of social media had a link in order for them to come and ask Karen about Clico. All of them, Clico. And now they have an opportunity to come and ask questions. What do they do?
She already answered about Clico.
Yeah, but Dan, what I'm saying
but
is
them other, those others, I know you're talking.
All the others who want to ask questions, you had an opportunity though to ask the person who you accusing of something and you didn't take it, boy, only give me the opportunity to go and ask Dr. Rowley questions now. Give me that. Only give me please now.
Anselm and Diana, there was something that I based on the fact that I wasn't on the chat, or should I say on the station, I couldn't make it. I was wondering if anybody asked her about that allegation for that $1,000 ticket that she introduced. Did anybody ask that question?
Somebody asked about the thing for the $1,100 that Ulrich asked her that, right? But she said she couldn't remember.
$1,000. She said she introduced the $1,000 ticket charge.
Yeah, from $100 to $1,000. But wait now. Recently, what they increased it to 5,000.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm asking. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm not aware.
Ulrich, we'll get a proper answer for you on that. Seriously, we'll get. Trust me, you'll get a proper answer. As a matter of fact, we go try to bring back Karen again, right? Because we want questions answered. We want to be transparent and accountable. All right. And
can we Google and find out what year the charge for parking was increased to $1,000?
I tried it. I have to go and look for it. I tried it. I actually tried it when Ulrich, right? So folks, just before we go for a break, right? Ray Stelt, Ulrich, Takesha, Carice, Lana, Nadia, Albert Montano, Janice G, so Denise G, Ray Stelt. We have to go way back. All right, put closing comments in the chat. So folks, I personally don't want to hear no excuse. Are there any police present outside Rosehill School during school hours? Mr. Hines asking for a friend. Yeah. So folks, look at, and you know what? We are going to bring Karen back again. And they're coming in, and she's coming in. And if there are any, the thing people want to have hangover here is Clico. So all your comedy questions now, man, oh God. All you come and ask questions, and I want to know. Next time, I want Dr. Rowley and them now to have a town hall where people can now come ask Dr. Rowley questions. And he can do that from his house, right? You don't have to go nowhere, right? You don't have to go nowhere to do that. Even though, you know, and listen, I do wish him a speedy recovery too as well, you know, from COVID, you know, but he could have a town hall, a virtual town hall, and he answer questions from the people, right?
Fair.
I mean, it's that fair, right?
Yep.
Huh?
Oh, and Stuart Young could come in here too.
Oh, yeah, you know what? That remind me now. I want to do that tomorrow. I want to send Stuart Young, Stuart Young, and the other two fellas who are running, Ken Butcher, and a third person who are running for chairman. I want to send them in the village to have a town hall with them. We're going to be the town hall radio station and social media site.
Dr. Shane Mohammed has agreed to be coordinator when you get these heavy hitters inside, okay?
Yeah. We're going to do that. We are going to do that. So let's go for a quick station identification. It's in the village with the DAT triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Stick and stay. We'll be right back after this short message. It's in the village with the DAT triplets on WZYE 95.9.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
We are back with you. It's in the village with the DAT triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. Well, Tommy and Diana, I think tonight was groundbreaking for us in that, we started something, that's a little different where people can come in and ask their questions, on, I mean, you could say on air.
They're gonna start doing it in Trinidad now.
Well, that's okay. You know what I mean?
That's what we like.
That's what we like.
We like that to be the standard.
Yeah, we want to set the standard. We like to set the standard. Set the standard. You know what I mean? And we think it's important. And we want to compliment the people in the chat, who have been very loyal and stayed with us, and coming in and joining us. To Keisha, Lana, Mean Gene, even Mean Gene coming out. Mean Gene coming, and he made a statement. Yeah. I know you know have a question, but he gave back his thing tonight, boy.
I know why he didn't have a question. His
Why?
significant other, he was talking to a program.
Oh, okay. They came back to talk to the program. Yeah. But
Mean Gene is I'm trying to say so, right?
Yeah, Mean Gene, park closing comment now, if you're still around. If you still have it. So, folks, again, Tommy, closing comments.
Well, I like to say that we have to always be mindful of what we say, because words can cast a spell. That's why we say spelling. And again, be impeccable with your words. Again, I'm sorry for being late this evening, but I truly enjoyed the little time that I spent with the village family, and always like being here in the village. Love you all. Be safe out there. See you next session.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, folks, it's very simple for me. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. To people in the People's National Movement who are allowing certain behaviors to happen and clapping and being silent. Martin Luther King says, your life ends the day you remain silent about things that matter. Your life ends the day you remain silent about things that matter. Martin Luther King also said, you don't have to see all the flights in the staircase, you only have to see the first flight. And Frederick Douglass says, power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. From where I said this is it, the clock on the wall said that's all I like to say, but I've got to go. Remember, hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard. And for every 60 seconds of anger, you lose 1 minute of happiness. See you. Same WZYE time, same WZYE channel.
Me? I'm just going to briefly say the oppressor is only as strong as they are because they have accomplices amongst the oppressed. Diana Benskin, Global Ambassador, poet, bidding your leadership. Yeah, good night.
Thank you, Diana. So let's go to the chat, closing comments. Yeah, we had to go to the chat, closing comments in the chat. I don't know how it is. Let me see. Okay, Lana says, Anselm, show was fantabulous. Must have the show like this, a few shows like tonight. Yeah, Lana. I think we onto something, I think we onto something. Ray Stelt says, only closing comment I know could be repeated so much is bye. Ray Stelt, I don't know. I don't know, but like you just only get your phone kind of late too, I'd start worrying about you,
He now get a top up.
Yeah, get a top up. Oh yeah, I'd start worrying. Takisha says, great program tonight as usual. Blessings to the team and the chat. Love in the village, and I hope I can meet Miss Karen in person. No worry, Takesha. We go organize that. We go organize that. Ulrich says, I see the future. You have to look. To see the future, you have to look forward. It makes no sense looking backwards for it. Have a blessed night, everyone. Thank you, Ulrich. One big shootout by Lana's closing comments. Never forget where you came from, but remember where you headed. Stay safe till we meet again, my village family. Thank you, Lana. Where Nadia, boy?
She walking Stormy.
No, she's gonna walk with
June.
What's this? Restart said Trinidad is not an island right now. That is moving up the ladder, but sliding down the snake instead. What? All right. Okay. I think that's it, you know. Carice, I didn't see a comment from Carice. Here's Nadia. Good night, everyone. Blessings to everyone in the village. Stay safe till Saturday, please, God. Yeah. We had to try something for Saturday. Carice says, your tongue stop falling and start spewing the stupidest things. Nadia said, Ansem, that's what I like about you. You always welcome us to the chat. God bless you. You're a good person. Thank you, Nadia. I try my best. Okay. Okay, folks, I think that's it. All right, so we're going to go to this one tonight. What is that one, Diana? Certain things remind me of certain things?
Yeah.
Yeah, we will go with that one tonight. Funny. Certain things remind me of certain things. I like that song too bad, you know? Tommy, remember that one?
We like to move on with the Kaiso. Coming up now on stage is a seasoned campaigner, and this man have a song for 1991. I want all you to sit back, relax, and listen to it carefully. Now hear what he's saying. Certain things remind him of certain things. That's the name of the Calypso. And the singer, the funny man of Calypso. Put your hand together and bring on stage Lord Funny.
All right, I gotta read Albert Montano comments before the historian. If I read the comments, I don't want to get Albert wrong side. Let me go and read Albert comments. Hold on. Closing, Denise G. Closing, great job in elevating the content and dialogue of the show. Looking forward to next time. There you go, Denise G. Let me go and look for Albert comment before Albert send the whole family for me. Let me go and see Albert. Good night. Good night, Tommy, Anselm, and Diana. That is it? Nah, I don't think that's the closing comment. Ken John, welcome. Good night, Anselm, Tommy. Shalom, be safe, blessings. Let me go and see with Albert, bye. I think that was Albert closing comments, you know. All right, Albert, I read it, so don't get vexed with me. Yeah. I read Albert closing comments now. That is it right there. Let me go back and read it twice. Albert says, let me go back. Hold on, wait, The historian in the village, you have to respect it. Good night, Anselm and Diana and Tommy. Albert, full respect, man. All right, let me go back to this. Let me go back to this song here.
Good night, Albert.
Yeah. Let's say good night to Albert, boy. What?
Certain things remind you of certain things.
Yeah, certain things remind me of certain things, Albert.
Yeah. People always asking me
why I sing certain things. What does be going through your head? Where does be thinking? Boy, them calypsos is really something. How you think about them thing to sing? All I could say, friends don't take nothing. You see certain things does remind me of certain things. B.T. Soros scandal and John O'Halloran does remind me of Eric Williams. When I remember Eric dead and gone forever, and then I just remember he was PNM. The other day, I see a white person in the lap of a blonde lady, and I remember me partner Georgie. Certain things does remind me of certain things. That is why I always sing certain things. Yes. Tell you. When I walk through Port of Spain and I look around, it does bring back memories of all them looters in town. The police and army block some Grenadians going with me complex and stadium. And they hold this caveman, they call it Jack, toting away a big fat woman on the back. And whenever I see a pregnant woman or somebody say horn, it does remind me when the curfew was on. And anytime I see a dog put on a load, I just start to spit. I just remember the time I mash it. And anytime I see Tommy Joseph and the Velcroft too, it does remind me I had to take the kids to the zoo. Certain things does remind me of certain things. Yes. That is why I always say certain things. Tell you. Yeah. While I lying in my bed, just reminiscing the things I see and hear around, and me remembering a cockroach on the wall, a cock set on a stand, a cock crow, so I remember Joanne. When I see Calypsonians backstage changing without clothes, I remember all kind of things. When Rio drop his pants, I remember my grandpa crook stick. Mighty Duke reminds me of a toothpick. Contender does remind me up to big stone or to the ball. Rex West, do remind me and nothing at all. Remind me, Trini, does remind me of when you boil macaroni and the posto of the farmer donkey. Certain things, yes, remind me of certain things. Well, you.
You might be asking yourself, can you actually create high-quality live streams for free? Well, with StreamYard, the answer is